And we're going to kick things off here pretty darn quick, everyone, because we got a hell of a show. It's the Round Table tonight, and Stetson John is here, so you know it's going to be a good one. Sir Wolf, good to see you. Oh my God, I am having troubles catching up here. Okay, I've been there. Virgil, how you doing? We got about 40 seconds. Remember, a great way to support this show, everyone, is to hit up the Super Chat. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. Hit that subscribe button if you're brand new here, and we'd love it if you did. And you can do a little shopping at facebook.com/Spaced Out Radio. Oh, that's the show. Damn it, that's a show page. You could click that and like that, but do shopping at facebook.com/the SOR Vault. You could get some good swag and a nice piece of autographed coaxial cable, everyone, courtesy of Cable Guy Matt. Remember, you cannot buy these in stores. Limit one per shirt or one per order.
I'm deciding whether or not I should have my gold emplated.
You should. You totally should, Science Bob. All right, here we go, everyone. 5 seconds. Let's have a great show tonight. Here we go. Columbia, to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do Old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. At the end of each month, I kind of sit back, relax. I invite a few friends in and bring in a panel of people from around the alternative world to discuss the month that was in the SOR Round Table. Actually, it's 2 months since we didn't do a round table last month due to the end of 2020 and the way the holidays landed. But that's okay. We're back. Tonight we are joined from Goof On. We got Richie G. Well, little Richie G, we call him around here. Science Bob McGuire. You know, to add to the beautiful looks, because this is just not an attractive crowd, we have Lynn Wallington, our resident witch, and from a great podcast called UFO Garage, we have Joe and Ben, and I got to tell you, Joe has some of the nicest hair and beard you have ever seen on a man, really. I mean, he's got to be using some serious mane and tail. We'll get into that later on tonight. Everyone, welcome to the SOR Roundtable. We're going to kick things off right off the bat here, and we're going to start because we didn't do a roundtable last month, but Science Bob, I'm going to kick things off with you right off the bat here, all right? The breakup of the To the Stars Academy. Luis Elizondo, gone. Chris Mellon, gone. Steve Justice, going back to Lockheed Skunk Works, gone from the TTSA. What has this done to the field of ufology, in your opinion?
Not much, since those guys didn't participate with the field of ufology much while they were in TTSA. So I think that Lou has increased his participation with the field of ufology by going out with Cahill and Jeremy and others. My belief is they're taking Skyhub equipment out and trying to catch something live. I don't know that for a fact. No one's told me that, but it sounds right. And so I just think that that's interesting. And Lou's like everywhere. He's on all sorts of podcasts and interacting and telling stuff. Chris Mellon's his usual quiet self, and Steve Justice, what have we seen him, 15 seconds in a few years? So I think his rightful place is back with Lockheed, where he's happy.
Well, the big thing is, okay, and I heard John Greenwald on the Black Vault podcast talking to Lou Elizondo, and one of the things that Lou had stated to John was that there was a lot of issues between really going into ufology, Bob, and forgetting about the people that helped get you here, forgetting about the cause, forgetting about what that was all about. And Lou seemed disappointed by that. And to me, it seemed a little genuine, to be honest. Was that a downfall of TTSA, the fact that they did not take care of the UFO crowd that was supporting them so much?
So I've even heard that Jim Simivan is planning on interacting. I think he's waiting for his own experiencer story to come out. So I think this is changing. Organizations change. They start one way, things don't go quite the way they want, they change or they die.
All right, let's bring in Richie G to come on in here and talk about the TTSA splitting up last month, my friend. And it's been a weird time around ufology, but is this good for the field that we see a breakaway from a group that was very polarizing to some?
Yeah, it's a great thing that happened, and we're going to see another side of these guys who left. I think Lou's going to have you're going to see a different side, maybe a more tender side, more emotional Lou. I don't know, but it seems like he really wants to get out in the public and let everybody know, I'm here to help you. If you have anything you want to report to me, I'll, listen. I mean, that's what I'm hearing is going on with Lou, and I don't know about the other guys. I just hear about Lou, but that's it. I don't pay too much attention to TTSA, only when things happen like this. Can't stand it.
Well, I mean, it is big, though, Rich, the fact that...
Is it?
Well, that you have their three key players, because now there's a lot of questions about what's going to go on with Tom DeLonge. What happens there? We don't know.
He was always a patsy, I think. He was always somebody you could just blame, if things go bad. It's him. I think that might happen. Or it has happened. I mean, we didn't hear his story yet.
Not really. I mean, there was a real vague release about it, about moving forward and getting more into the entertainment side. But I don't think it answered any questions that a lot of their supporters and even their detractors were trying to figure out. So, I mean, I'm going to bring in Ben from UFO Garage here. Ben, what was your opinion when you heard TTSA shutting or making some big changes?
Oh man, yeah. It didn't really shock me too much. I figured this thing wouldn't be lasting all that long. I agree with you, Science Bob. I was on a radio show here in Austin, and when it first came out to the Stars Academy, the person interviewing me was like, "Hey, so what do you think about Tom DeLonge?" And I said, "Man, I think he's a shill." So I didn't really understand the term, but I feel like there's something weird about, like, it's like, "Hey, kids, we're cool too." It was kind of a Trojan horse in a way. That's kind of the vibe that I got. I still love Tom DeLonge, by the way. I love the dude, but as far as like what he's done for the UFO field, I think they've done a lot of awesome stuff. But I kind of didn't really see this coming, but it didn't surprise me, this split.
How about for you, Lynn? Pardon me.
Well, I guess my question would be, were they part of the UFO community? Like, they always seem to be sort of separate. So to me, it doesn't really make any difference whatsoever. I'm completely unaffected.
But, I mean, do you think, I understand that you're very unaffected, but in a way, when you were part of the Free Experiencers, which was set up by Dr. Edgar Mitchell, I'm not sure if you were there at the time when Tom DeLonge tried to buy the statistics from Renario Hernandez in regards to, the stats of people having ET contact, because I thought there was a lot of irony around that, Lynn, where Tom was preaching about everything being negative and demonic and we're going to be invaded just like Independence Day if we don't put nukes in space. And yet the statistics that Free was showing were absolutely polar opposite from the well over 4,200 people who took that statistical study.
Right. No, I wasn't there when he tried to buy. I didn't even know that. That's interesting. But I can't imagine that Ray would have sold those statistics after all of the work they've done. But I don't know what the heck he does. Tom DeLonge does, to be honest. Like, I'm completely separated from him. So I guess that's why I say I'm unaffected. And And it never felt like they were truly a part of the UFO community. They sort of seemed like they were out on the fringe, kind of doing their own little thing.
Very true.
And his wife is also separated from him.
Well, that's not a good thing. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I don't know the situation that well. But it is changing times, though, Joe, with the beard, in regards to, the TTSA kind of splitting up. I mean, do you see the TTSA moving forward? And if so, how do you see them moving forward after this?
Man, I think they will definitely keep moving forward. I mean, even if like TTSA isn't an entity all on its own, I think, Tom DeLonge, I mean, like, the dude's literally been into it since he was a kid. I don't see him like losing this and then being like, well, I give up on UFOs. Like, I'm pretty sure that these guys are just going to keep doing stuff. When you have money to throw at issues, like they have money to throw at issues, it's kind of easy to just say, yeah, I'm going to go keep doing this, So, when I heard that they were going to split up, to me, honestly, I didn't really think it was going to last that long either. So it's kind of one of those things where, you obviously had the divide between like the UFO community and then TTSA. And it was, to me, it just seemed like, oh, well, here comes this group of guys that can just throw a whole bunch of money at something. And, it's rough. It's rough when, like, especially if you've been doing this for like a super long time. I mean, me and Ben are kind of new at this, but I mean, if you've been into this stuff for 30, 40 plus years, you've been working your butt off, and then like you just have these dudes who are just going to come in and buy up all this information from everybody. And it's like, well, what are they going to do with it? So, I mean, it doesn't really hurt my feelings that things are kind of crumbling a little bit, but yeah, I totally think they'll continue doing stuff.
If they still have any money left over, right, to make maybe shows and things.
Yeah.
Well, Rich, that brings up a good point to you. What do you think is the future of TTSA then?
Rebuilding, and Tom will still be there, but they're going to be more, I think, in the entertainment part. You're going to hear more of I heard Tom was going to be making a movie about his childhood, some B movie about him and his friends going around town finding interesting things to do, including UFOs, sightings, and things like that. And also the same thing we've been getting from them, a little bit of something that means nothing.
Well, we'll see where it goes. Science Bob.
My opinion.
Science Bob, I want to ask you in regards to the future of TTSA, all right? I mean, you know a lot of these scientists. You've worked with some of them over the years in your role throughout the alphabet agencies. How do you replace someone like Elizondo, Mellon, and Justice? I mean, you just can't get anybody to fill those shoes. Do they have the scientists in the bank that they can bring forward?
Well, now look, Christopher Mellon was a high-ranking political person who took a political appointment in the Department of Defense. So he was very high-level politically, and he just happened to be interested in dealing with all these things that military people are reporting. So he was doing his job as he could. Steve Justice, and there are a lot of powerful political people, but there are not as many as connected as Mellon is all over the IC. He was Senator Warner's staffer on the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, so it's just he's very well connected. Steve Justice, he is as rare as they get. He was an extremely high-level, very capable engineer at Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, and they are close to not replaceable in these times when the demand for that kind of technical talent is largely gobbled up by Silicon Valley and startups. And Lou Elizondo, there are other people in the government like Lou Elizondo, and I'm sure there are one or two that are as experienced in operations, et cetera. And I never quite understood why counterintelligence was kind of the thing that said, I just think he had a personal interest in the subject, and he had connections all over the intelligence community and DOD, and used them to get something done while he was attached to the office he was attached to. He is one of the most interesting of them. He's out there, but I think he could be replaced possibly except for his level of interest and level of experience. The other two, they are hard to replace.
All right, so who do you replace him with? Anybody jump in on this? Who do you replace him with, and do we know those people as of right now?
Ben and Joe. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, it seems like the roster was just packed full of seemingly hand-picked people that were kind of in the military, been in the military, have a lot of experience, and it just really seemed like an A-plus team that they put together. It almost seems a little forced. I don't know what that means, but it feels forced, and it always felt a little weird. Like, man, all these people are really smart, and they've done a lot of stuff. Like Hal Putoff. The guy, who knows? Maybe he knows how to create anti-gravity machines and the other things that he's claiming to be researching on. But yeah, man, is he still on the team, or did he bounce as well? I can't remember. He is. Yeah. I don't know. He did move on. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's still an advisor, but he's not active.
Right. Yeah, I feel like whoever is going to I don't know if it's even going to be these people going to be replaced. It might just be, hey, who can film? Like, what production studio can step in and be a part of the team? I don't know. The representatives, though, I have no idea.
It's going to be that way. It's going to be the same thing. Like, did we know Lou Elizondo before he came on the TTSA? I don't remember hearing his name in ufology. So I think they'll get, if they are to replace him, people we've never heard of. But, they'll put them up on a pedestal and say, these guys are good for the job. Here's their history. Check them out.
But
That's what we did before.
But how many would actually, knowing the track record, knowing how small that community is, Rich, how many scientists would want to all of a sudden say, hey, I'll get involved? Because the first thing, if I was applying for the job and I knew these guys, first thing I would do is I would be looking into this and saying, okay, well, why did you quit? What's going on? I'd talk to Gary Nolan. I would talk to these guys who've left TTSA already and just say, tell me what's right, tell me what's wrong. And if the wrongs outweighed the rights, I wouldn't go. Because there's no money in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
I feel like there's got to be a reason why they're not wanting to be affiliated with this thing. Not only, I feel like if you're just being on the board or a member of some kind of organization, you just kind of sit back and don't really worry about it. But it seems like there's something there. Like, why would they all of a sudden? There's got to be something going on. Maybe something.
They're limited on what they can work with because they did not work with the public at all. So if you're just going to stay with the government stuff, there's only so many they're going to show us. They can go in the archives and tell stories through, forever. If that's what they want to do and put it on unidentified, they can do that again. I just don't see them really doing much more than what they've been doing, even if they get 3 more people to come in. It's going to be the same results we've had. Not much.
Lynn,
yes, they get.
Sorry, Rich. Please continue. Please continue. No, please.
I was just going to say they did get ufology more in the mainstream media. So that I applaud them for. But other than that, I'm not really a fan.
Lynn, what's your thoughts? How do they bounce back with this? How do they bring it forward?
I don't know. Okay, so I have no idea about how they bring it forward, but when I sit back and think about the team, and I thought this from the beginning when we first kind of were introduced to all of these cast of characters, and I use that term purposely, it seemed like it was a little too perfect. I don't know if I'm the only one that kind of got that vibe. It all seemed a little forced and perfect. So maybe that's just the, conspiratorial side of me coming out going, I don't know if I really buy this. So how do you replace a team like that? I don't know.
I don't know either. We're going to move on here on the round table tonight. And I got to talk. We may carry this over to the next half hour as well. All right. But recently, I've had a few people complaining about are woo here on Spaced Out Radio.
What?
Yes.
It's all connected, don't you know?
People complaining about the woo here on Spaced Out Radio. I never thought it was
all of it.
Oh, well, apparently, I don't take my job seriously as a journalist. I shouldn't be about entertainment, which, when you deliver a radio program such as us into terrestrial radio markets, that we should be serious all the time. I've been told that we are too much wing nuttery with a cast of characters led by the one and only R. Keith Andrews and the ET Connection. I mean, here I am, 3 hours a night, 5 days a week, trying to bring some fun back to the nights, and I'm getting in trouble for too much woo. Joe, I see you nodding your head there. This is upsetting you.
Yeah, man, it is kind of upsetting. I mean, it's you did a like a beautiful article the other day about what are we missing with experiencers and stuff like that, and reading through it and just being able to talk to certain people, all of these people when it comes to the UFO community and just like the topic in general, right? When somebody tells you something, the stories are pretty wild, and it's like, okay, you get into the woo stuff, whether you're talking about the spiritual or maybe some sort of cryptid that, people just probably don't believe in. There's a lot of stuff in this field that acquiring evidence for has obviously been a problem, right? And, you got all these people that are telling these same stories, and they all involve a little bit of woo to them, And so for you to just discredit somebody that comes across your plate and it's like, well, that's probably woo. Like, why can't we just hear these people out? Like, if you don't agree with it, fine, move on, whatever. That wasn't your episode or whatever. But, everybody's got a story to tell. There's no harm in letting somebody tell their story. The one reason that I got into this is because I absolutely love stories. And even if I feel like somebody is blowing smoke, I still listen to the story because I enjoy the story. And then I formulate my own opinion afterwards. But, who cares? Woo, no woo. It's a really fine line. And honestly, if I'm gonna believe in something that can materialize into the corner of my room that came down in a glowing ship, like, sure, why can't I believe that a rock is full of energy?
Absolutely. Rich, I'm curious your opinion here, because I mean you're a very serious guy. You try and bring things up, but you like to have fun too. Is there too much seriousness? We only got about 45 seconds and we'll continue with Rich, but is there too much seriousness in these topics these days?
Well, it's not that there's too much seriousness. People take themselves too seriously. And usually I find out that it's the people who don't really do any research at all, or they don't try to go outside their comfort zone. So I'm finding that out the more I'm in this field, that those are the people who really shouldn't be talking. They shouldn't be saying anything. They're not the ones going out there getting familiar with their surroundings. They're not the ones going out there and doing the research. They're not the ones going out there creating, paranormal stuff. You can do that. The more you're in it, the more you're going to see it. And these people just don't go out enough. And that's the problem. That's the problem with them. Rich, so I don't really pay too much mind to them, Dave.
Rich, I want to continue on with you and the rest of the panel here on the SOR Round Table as we're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We're going to continue on. Is there a problem with the woo? Do we need more woo? Do we need less? Do some people need a woo enema? Do some people need to just relax a little bit and enjoy nighttime entertainment? We'll find out from the panel right after this on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we're clear.
I got your woo enema.
Oh, well.
God.
Hence the anal probes.
Just ask Carl.
Yeah.
no.
Hey, where is Carl? Has he been around, Dave?
No, Carl's still way far out there, man. Carl is still way far out there.
Too much woo for him, too.
Probably. Hey,
Poor
Science Bob is wearing his Woo Train shirt tonight. Check that out.
Yes, I am.
And he's on the Woo Train.
That's amazing. Oh my god. Yeah, it's I don't know. Man, the woo thing. Yeah, we've gotten some hate on YouTube for.
Well,
for
save that.
specific
Save
things.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I
All right.
want to save that for
I'll
the
save it.
radio side of everything. You know.
Okay, cool.
But no, man, I don't know what it is, man, but I just bite my lip sometimes. It's funny because it's private conversations that the audience on YouTube doesn't get to hear. Like when I'm on the phone with Science Bob, or I'm on the phone with Nicole Sackich or Rich Giordano, and I'm like, you know, and Rich will always give me shit. He'll be like, well, why haven't you mentioned any of this on the air? You should just talk about it on the air. And I'm like, I can't, you know, I just can't. I gotta just shut up and take it.
Is it the reason you can't talk about it? Is it like just the curse words that would be involved, or what?
Tell me what you want to say, Dave. I'll say it.
I want to know, Dave.
I'll say it right now.
Tell her. Joe will say it for you.
This is where Lynn just rolls her eyes and shut up, Dave. Just shut up.
No, I was just thinking, just tell me. I'm the witch, so I'm the craziest of the crazy group. I'll put it out there. I don't mind.
Yeah, but you know what? I wish Lynn would actually put her hair on camera because she just dyed her hair like unicorn colors. It looks really good.
What?
Yeah, it looks really good.
We gotta see that.
Oh my god. I don't know. It's frightening right now. I'm frightening right now, guys.
the way I look at it, I mean, who am I? I'm just a cook. I'm not a researcher or anything like that. I'm just a cook, right? So, who am I?
Oh,
I agree.
all right.
Who am I?
You can have a quick view of it, baby, if it'll
Exactly.
come on. Oh, it's not working. It's
You did
almost
this.
Hold on. Oh, where is it?
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
she
I
turned
turned it back off. We turned it back on. It's not working for some reason. It's all black.
your
You
camera's
gotta take
turning
the
the
tape
other
off.
way.
You got the
I
tape on.
don't have it. There is no tape.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on my computer.
Well, your
don't know.
computer hates
looks
you.
like-
then.
It looks like
Right?
a shadow being.
Maybe it hates you. You don't get to see the hair.
It does.
Oh.
They sold you a bad computer.
Hi, Zenzabil. How you doing?
No, it usually works. I
Hello,
don't know
gorgeous
why it
Kira.
works.
Let's see here. We woo every day like Ric Flair at UFO Garage at Spaced Out Radio. Joseph D. Pena will persevere. Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
It's funny, me and Joe were just passing along gifts of Ric Flair just before we.
Hold on 1 second here, because Gary the Dutchman has entered the chat room, which means it's time to show off on my Mighty Moose beard oil. Go to mightymoosebeard.com. Gary the Dutch will help you on out. Science Bob can't anymore because he decided to shave. But all you do is you just grab a little squirt here like so. You undo it. I mean, add a few drops to your hand right there. Get yourself away from the microphone. Away from the microphone. Look at your hair. It's gorgeous.
Hey!
And then you just massage it in. Just massage it in. It's that simple. And ladies, this is also good for split ends. So you just bring it on in and massage it in. Go to mightymoosebeard.com. All right? Go get your moose oil.
Beautiful.
All right? That's all you got to do. Use promo code SOR 2019, and Gary the Dutch is going to take good care of you. It's that simple. Hey, Frapsap. Yeah, Rich.
So what does your beard feel like now in your hair? Is it super soft or?
Oh, yeah, it's soft. It's manageable. It smells great. It does.
Oh.
And it's all natural. No chemicals. The Dutchmen don't like chemicals. I think he made it right out of his wooden shoes, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I don't know.
Little dab will do you.
Big
Was he
thank
wearing the wooden shoes?
Maybe. Big thank you to Dolly, Sinister, Marty, Science Bob, Cat Chaser, and John for those super chats tonight. Thank you for the love and the support. And remember, you can get all your swag by going to facebook.com/the SOR Vault. Here we go. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rocking Out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Do we have enough woo in this world? That is the big question on the SOR Paranormal Roundtable that continues right now with Science Bob McGuire. We got Joe and Ben from UFO Garage Podcast. If you haven't heard it, make sure you do. You'll love these guys. The gorgeous and talented are Wicked Witch of the Wallington. Lynn Wallington is here. I love her, and that's why she's here. And, of course, we got Science Bob and Little Richie G from Goof On. Everyone, welcome back. And, Lynn, I want to start with you in regards to it because I'm going to get back to Rich here momentarily. But, you know, how do we mix the woo with the seriousness? Because there's a lot of people, Lynn, who are taking these topics very seriously because they want answers. They're tired of the BS. They really are. But we have to be able to enjoy these topics because not everybody gets to play with them. You know, this isn't everybody's toy, Lynn.
Right. That's true. I mean, if you think about it, there's only so much seriousness we can attribute towards the subject because a lot of the what we call evidence is anecdotal. There's not a lot of scientific proof that we have for any of this. So it's going to inherently be full of woo. So if they don't like it, oh well.
Would you consider yourself a woo meister?
I'd say I'm moderately wooey. I don't know. I like a mix of both the science and the woo.
All right, but you know, you've been doing this a long time, and you are in a bunch of different fields. I mean, you can go paranormal, you could go religious, you could go Wiccan, you could go UFOs. You're very diverse that way. So my question to you is, you know, out of all the stories and everything that you've heard regarding, you know, a lot of the claims that people make, you know, a lot of that is woo that we don't want to take seriously. So how do we blend the two?
Yeah. I think you're doing a great job. You talk about both of them. That's really all you can do. And the stories are what I find the most interesting. Yeah, I absolutely love anything scientific that we have on it, that we find about it. I totally nerd out on that as well. However, the people's stories are what really make it fascinating for me.
Exactly. All right, Joe, let's get to your... no, you already answered the woo question, didn't you? It's Ben's turn.
Oh, yeah, I was mentioning, so our podcast, we're new. Joe and I are kind of new to the subject, being public about it, but we've always been interested in, as of late, we have really dove into the woo, like hard. I'm talking head first, 30 feet up, 50 feet up. And I used to be totally turned off by it until I really just started hearing people out, hearing their stories. And I just had these memories of past experiences with, I don't know, maybe there were shadow people, there was a ghost. I grew up in a really strange house. But yeah, the woo has really turned around for me, and I am finding so many connections that are so profound. And when you really put it, I don't have the full puzzle piece in front of me, but I'm slowly putting each piece together, and they fit really nicely in a lot of different ways. But we do get a lot of hate on YouTube, and the hate that we get is always like, man, either like, stop saying phallic jokes and stuff like that. But the other thing is like, hey, Yeah, stop being so woo. Like focus on have an interview. Focus on the science and the facts. And I think the squeakiest wheel gets the grease. And those always seem to be the same people that complain. The people that are kind of so focused nuts and bolts. And I don't know. I don't know these people from Adam or Eve. Like, have they been in the field for 40 years and they're just like not about it? Or are they new to it and now they're like really chatty and they just want to chat you up and say yes or no and naysay stuff? Just, I don't know, but it does seem to be a specific type of person that speaks up, and it's usually in a negative way about the woo. But like, why? It's not hurting anybody.
Well, the problem is, Science Bob, there's a lot of people out there who believe that the woo actually hurts this field. It hurts what we're trying to study. It hurts what we're trying to prove. There is no scientific evidence. There are people making some very outlandish statements in regards to their experiences or what they claim to know as 100% fact. So how do you balance the two? I mean, you're a guy who's in the middle. You've had your own experiences, but you've been a scientist for the last 47, 48 years and held very high and accountable positions.
Yeah, so I got to tell you, people have to be selective in who they listen to and interact with. And I want to remind everybody that's listening and everybody who will listen to me that there is a person who has been bedrock foundational, most impactful person in all of ufology for 50 years. Jacques Vallée wrote The Invisible College, and he wrote Passport to Magonia, and Passport to Magonia is why woo is everywhere in ufology, and vice versa. And it's just, go read it. Go listen to somebody. The guy helped build the internet. He wrote a massive database, and he is the person that convinced Allen Hynek that UFO experiences were real, and he has continued on the work that he and Hynek started. Vallée was more important than people even realize, and a lot of people think he's really important. So just there you go. Go read Passport to Magonia and think about what he's saying.
Okay, but Bob, with you being highly credentialed in science and mathematics and computers and space and everything, okay, people look at you as someone who has a voice of reason to get away from these claims, whether it's Travis Walton, whether it's R. Keith Andrews, whether it's people who've seen Bigfoot disappear right in front of their very eyes, or ghosts appear out of nowhere, or screaming banshees chasing them, along the beaches of Hawaii or whatever it may be. Okay, you are someone who they go to say, waving the white flag, Bob, save us from the woo, and yet here you are saying, well, you have to accept some woo, because it's the woo that led us down this path to give us evidence to study this.
No scientist worth being called such will take data and throw it away, even if it's people's experiences that don't have other data. Now, as a scientist, I might weigh video, electromagnetic sensors, accelerometers, thermometers, and all that stuff differently than someone's personal anecdote, but I won't throw that data away. Why would I throw it away? So a good scientist is both skeptical and open-minded. By that I mean they're not going to accept necessarily the explanation that other people have given, but they're not going to throw the data away. They're going to take the data away until they have enough data to make some reasonable hypothesis that they can test.
Richie, I want to bring you in here for the final word of this one, because I know I could feel it. You're winding up a little bit. You're winding up.
I feel it.
Just release it, Rich. Just release it.
Bob took it all from me. I was going to say the same exact thing. Pretty much.
Damn Bob.
Well, that happens. And look, the field isn't the field unless you have the woo. I believe it's the woo that gets you there, man. That's like you saying you're sitting around, you see a light. You don't know where it came from. You investigate. If it wasn't for that strange light, the woo, you wouldn't have went to go see what it was. Same thing with shadow things. You see a shadow in the corner of the room. You go investigate. You see it move. It's woo that brought you there. So yeah, no, you don't have to really investigate all the time to see the woo. But I think the woo is always going to be a part of any experience that we have in the paranormal field. It's inevitable. It's what it is. It's woo.
I'm going to say one final word here before we move on, because I think we beat this subject to death here. What I do as a journalist is much different than what I do as an entertainer, as host of this show. All right. So when I'm working on an article or I'm working at writing something, that's the journalistic side of me coming out. When I ask questions that are pertinent to subjects, it all depends on the subject matter of that night. So when I have somebody like our Keith Andrews on, all right, do I buy everything he says? No, I don't. I've even told Keith that, so it's not like it's something that I haven't said before. Okay. And Keith's like, well, that's just what I know. Okay. But we have to be able to allow fun. The world is so bloody serious right now. Everything is serious. We're not allowed fun anymore. And what we try to do here is we try to bring an escape. That if you woke up at 7 a.m, you've literally had the tar beaten out of you by people, social media, mainstream media, and whatever else in between, your work schedule, maybe your children, your spouse, for literally, 12 hours, 14 hours. And you get to come in here now, and you get to hear some of the most insane, stupid, woo-packed topics that anybody can hear. Guess what? We're allowing you that escape. It's no different than enjoying a movie. But you have to be able to separate the journalism side and the entertainment side. And we're all about entertainment. But we're sticking with the woo here, everyone. We are sticking with the woo. Because the Bigfoot Research Organization, and I'm working on a story here, speaking of journalism, I'm starting to get some proof here that the Bigfoot Research Organization is literally canceling and throwing in the garbage any report, allegedly, that comes in with woo. Or they are editing reports that come in because they want to be known as scientific research, even though the majority of them haven't done any science since high school. All right. But they want to be the scientific, serious Bigfoot researchers looking for an ape running around North America's forest, and anything that delves into woo, into UFOs, ghosts, is being thrown in the garbage by their board led by a gentleman named Matt Moneymaker. All right. Science Bob, I want to start with you on this one because you're the one who reminded me of it. And you said it moments ago that every report needs to be investigated. So how wrong, if this is allegedly true, which the evidence that I've been shown so far is leaning that way, how wrong is that for this giant Bigfoot group to be holding back from its members and the public because they don't want to investigate something that happened to a person?
It is wrong to edit an eyewitness's statements. You put all the entire statement in the record, and whatever other evidence they can add to it, and you leave it as it is, and you leave the interpretation of the vast collection of data up to others. You're trying to be objective. You want to be a completely objective collector of data, put it in your database, and let others do the interpretation. Though anyone who's both collecting the data and at the same time, right by themselves doing the interpretation of data, cannot be trusted to be completely objective, because once they have a hypothesis, they want to have their data support their hypothesis. This is why this doesn't work. And I want to remind people that, there are really serious people out there who believe in Bigfoot while they are policemen, who are looking for missing people in national parks and have written 3 or 4 Bigfoot books. and believe in UFOs and are MUFON field investigators, and they might answer the 411 or the 911 or whatever. I mean, look, they're really serious people that know how to collect this data, and that's the way it should be done.
Mm-hmm. Lynn, your thoughts?
It doesn't bother me too much when I agree with Science Bob. I think they absolutely should be taking all of this into account and recording all of it. But one thing that I've noticed kind of over the years is you'll see when groups first start out, they're very scientific, they're very serious, and then the woo kind of creeps in, and a little more woo creeps in, and then before you know it, they're just as involved in the woo as the rest of us. So, it'll come. Doesn't bother me.
Wow, just blasé about the entire woo topic. Just blasé. Hi, I'm Lynn. I
live a life.
I have unicorn hair and I'm blasé. That's her Tinder profile right now. I have unicorn hair and I'm blasé. All right, Joe from UFO Garage. When you hear that, as somebody who's looking into these fields, what is your opinion about the fact that there are reports not being brought to the public or being edited to take the woo out?
I think you're muted, Joe.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I totally agree with Science Bob, man. Like, yeah, you gotta take these full reports. It's wrong to edit them. It's wrong to take people's information out. Like, we all just said it a second ago. Like, without the woo, what is there to investigate? I mean, what are we gonna do? Just keep going investigating the same stuff? You found some hair. You found some logs that were pushed over in like a cool formation. Like, is that all you're going to do now? Like, are you going to stick with what you know and what you think is science and just stick with that? How are you ever supposed to figure out, the question or figure out whatever your answer is supposed to be if you keep doing the same stuff over and over again? I think it's really important to look at all aspects of this, whether or not you think it's woo or not. It's not your place to make that decision. It's your job to investigate and see what you can get from the story or from the evidence that you have.
I think one of the things that makes me uncomfortable, and I was talking to a member of the BFRO yesterday who sent me some information on this, and he actually showed me a report that an email conversation that he had with a person who made the file to the BFRO. And this person who filed the report was absolutely livid that when they read the report on the BFRO website, that it was edited, that they took out the most meaningful part because they felt it was irrelevant because it brought woo to the event. All right? And this person's like, but that's the story. I'm not making this up. I wouldn't have filed it to you if I was making this up. That's what the internet's for. Put it on Facebook. But this person had a genuine concern, and they felt totally distrusted. Rich, I want to get your opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's very common in the field anyway. A lot of people lie. A lot of people don't tell you everything you need to know. And by him editing that, I understand it. It's wrong, but I guess I'm not in his position. And anytime there's woo connected with Bigfoot, people go, nah. So they're just trying to get rid of that type of baggage, just like what comes along with UFO. Anytime somebody says, oh, you saw a UFO, they think, okay, redneck in the woods type of deal. So it's the same type of thing. That's what he's trying to do. He's just trying to not associate the woo. It's wrong. Of course it's wrong. But I can understand it. But it's wrong. I know. So now that this has come out, and this came out a couple of months ago that they were doing this, editing reports that way, what's being done about it? Anything? Does anybody have an update on that? I'm curious.
Well, I think what needs to be done is journalism.
Yeah.
These reports need to come out. But the problem is when you make accusations like this, you need to be able to back it up. And that's the hard part. Like, I know for me, I'll be writing a story on it, but I need to be able to back it up with evidence. People who've had their reports edited, researchers who've had their reports thrown in the garbage. That's the hard part about it. That's the hard part, is we have to be able to get to that. But I think it's sad for the Bigfoot world, because you have a powerhouse who has literally hundreds, if not thousands, of members across North America and the world, who is literally dictating what it can and cannot be considered a Bigfoot event. Look, you don't have to believe that Bigfoot is interdimensional, Joe, in regards to, or pardon me, Ben, in regards to this. You don't have to worry about that. But, I mean, you do have to be able to at least be honest with your membership, do you not?
Yeah, man. There's different levels of who and what Bigfoot is. And yeah, it kind of falls into that woo thing, but there's also some scientific evidence points to that there's a possibility that a hominid creature lives. Thousands of people wouldn't be talking about this if there wasn't something to it. And to edit that I think is dead. It's terrible. It's almost like the analogy I'm trying to make in my mind is like original thought, right? Like it comes from nowhere. We can't explain it. Where did it come from? No, this idea just came to me, right? Like, how many original thoughts are out there? Probably not a lot at this point in 2021. But when that original thought comes into your brain, and still, this is an analogy I'm trying to make and connect with this subject. It's like people want to say, no, that's a terrible idea. That doesn't exist yet. The technology doesn't exist, or whatever. This idea, it can't be proven. Yeah, because we don't have the means to observe it in the correct way. So there goes your proof. If you can't observe it in the correct way, you can't record your proof. If that makes sense. It's almost like, hey, don't have ideas.
Yeah.
Your imagination, stop it.
Okay, Bob, I'm going to give you the final word on this, because there's a big difference between eyewitness testimony and actual fact and evidence. All right? I guess the way I'm looking at it, with 2 minutes to go here before we go to break, how do you combine the two? What has to happen? What are the steps?
Okay, so look, you want to approach this like an investigative journalist or a criminal investigator. If you have eyewitness testimony, you have actual evidence, you just take the actual physical evidence and you put it in a pile. And then you listen to the narrative from the eyewitness, and you question them. And you have them repeat the story, and then you ask questions. Then you have them repeat the story, and you ask questions. And everywhere there's a contradiction, you put a big X through that part and say this part's weak. You just got to follow the kind of standard procedures to try to figure out what part of it you can rely on as a person trying to put a story together. And then whatever part of the narrative that you find you can rely on, then you relate it to the physical evidence and see how they connect. I mean, there's just only kind of a few logical ways to proceed. You're not going to take every word everybody ever says. You hope they have lots of physical evidence, but you want to tease them to repeat their story and over again until you find which parts are consistent and which parts are not.
That's very, very true. And I just hope that we could get enough evidence to, I do plan on, with that story, going to the BFRO and Matt Moneymaker, its head, and asking him some pertinent questions. And if he chooses to respond, great. If he chooses not, great. Because either way, it makes for one hell of a good story. It really does. And as long as the evidence is real, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Gentlemen and lady, I'm going to put you guys on hold because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go on the SOR Round Table. We do it near the end of each month, where I bring in some friends. And this time, from UFO Garage, we have Joe and Ben. We have the lovely and talented Lynn Wallington, Science Bob McGuire, and one of the best voices in ufology, Little Richie G from Goof On Radio. And when we come back from the break, we're going to hit a few more topics. Paranormal lockdowns. What exactly does that mean? What's it all about? I think you're going to be shocked when I bring this up to the panel. Yeah, we're locking down locations on Spaced Out Radio. Next. All right, we're clear. All right.
Marketing gimmick to make more money.
Well, you can't say that right off that. By the way, everyone, the lovely and talented Melinda Leslie is in the chat room and says hello to everyone. And
I love me some Melinda.
Melinda.
Yeah.
Hello, girl.
And Joe, she literally says, next kiss is with tongue, you know.
Hell yeah.
Melinda's gonna kill you, dude.
Deal.
All right, you guys chat away. I got to run my dogs out because I'm batching it this weekend.
That's awesome.
And so I got to run the dogs out. I'll be right back.
I'm always up for a challenge, dude.
Bro, I want to know what's this paranormal lockdown? Is it like it's a movie or am I out of the loop on that?
Yeah, there's a couple TV shows where they do that, where they lock themselves down for like
48,
2 days,
72
3
hours.
days. Yeah, depending
yeah,
on the show,
yeah.
they lock themselves
Right.
down at the location.
So my feeling is the first time I heard it was Nick and Katrina did it.
yeah,
And they locked themselves down for 3, and then like it went everywhere.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's like Naked and Afraid, but like with ghosts.
Yeah.
And
And
you
with
got
their
clothes
clothes
on.
But you have
Yeah.
clothes on. Nice.
But the ghosts don't.
I mean, do you
Or they
remember
do.
that?
Intrigue.
Or they do.
There was a
Not
show
on
back
this
in the
episode.
day, like it was probably like maybe 2000, 2001. It had come out on MTV where they would take like people and they would stick them in like haunted insane asylums and stuff, dude. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, yeah. And then,
I
like,
do remember
the
that.
goal was to like get out of this puzzle, and they would shut all the lights off, but it would be like a haunted place. You remember that show?
Dude, it's like you're describing a dream that I had. It's like I kind of know some of those details, but
It
I
was a
feel
long
like
time. It was like before ghosts were cool, dude.
oh, dude, ghosts are cool, dude.
Yeah, the
Uh,
best.
So, besides Bob, I think you said something about do ghosts wear clothes? Is that
They do or they don't. I mean, who cares?
dude? That'd be such a I don't know, maybe terrifying or maybe a
But they-
sexy encounter.
Maybe. Or
yeah.
if they do wear clothes, can they change their outfits at will? Like,
Dang.
My favorite lock into a place was Tinny and Chad in the big prison in Philadelphia, because when anything goofy or woo happens, Chad squeals like a banshee, and Tinny's sitting there like solid face,
Right.
no emotion. It's just like, oh my God, I loved it so much.
yeah, was great.
It was really entertaining.
I
Chad
know. I
really
wish that show
squealing.
was still on. It's a great
well,
one.
I love Tinny.
Yeah, me too.
What's the camera situation? Do they have like body cams, or is there like did they set up security cameras around the building like night vision? Did they turn the lights
Yeah.
off?
Yeah.
Oh my
all
goodness,
the
they all
above.
turned the lights off.
Yeah,
Cool.
right. Because that's necessary.
Cool. Dim, maybe lock them doors and turn the lights down low.
No, don't do that. We'll get ghosts.
Oh shit! No.
And Josh Turner's coming to get you, dude.
Oh no!
Because that was awful.
That was very bad.
Oh, dude.
I'll tell you what, my. I love it, dude. I love any show about ghosts. Man, it feels. I feel like there's a couple that stick in my mind. I don't know how we got on this topic, but like, there's one from. Oh man, I'm totally blanking, but the most famous ghost show.
Josh Turner? Zach Bacon?
See, I don't know names very well,
Ghost Adventures.
but it was
Adventures with
it was the
Zach
lighthouse. It was the
Yeah.
lighthouse one.
Yeah, St. Augustine Lighthouse with the shadows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
that was Ghost Hunters.
most
Yeah.
convincing video. And I'm so new to the ghost stuff, so I'm probably speaking like a 5-year-old right now. But that was like
No, you're not.
convincing.
The wildest,
It's the best
wooest
video.
one, the wildest, wooest one I ever saw was Zach when Nick was still with him, and they were in Nevada, and they had a full-bodied apparition walk in front of the camera. That was pretty woo.
Oh,
I will.
did you see the paranormal lockdown with Nick and Katrina where they were at the Black Monk House and they had the apparition
full-bodied
walk across the
apparition
doorway?
walked
Yes.
right by the door.
Awesome.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I will.
Dang.
I will tell you, Zach pissed off a lot of people in Vancouver when he brought up the Elisa Lam case, because there's still a lot of people who don't believe she committed suicide. They think that she was murdered, and her parents still believe that there's something nefarious about her. So it's just kind of weird in regards to that. It upset a lot of people in Vancouver. That's for sure.
Man.
So, yeah. Sorry to bring
Zach,
the downer on that one.
That's way to break it down, Dave.
Yeah,
that's the Ghost Hunters guy, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that.
I think Zach pisses a lot of people off.
I saw this one thing with him where he walked into this room and he was wearing sunglasses. And I was like, this fool's wearing sunglasses and it's dark.
Yeah. All right. Hold on 1 second. We only got about 25 seconds here. Want to say a big thank you to Dolly, Sinister, Marty, Science Bob, Cat Chaser, and John for the amazing super chats. It's a great way to support what we do here on Spaced Out Radio. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a thumb sideways. And if you're brand new, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We are trying for 15,000 subscribers before May 24th, which is my 48th birthday. And that would be a nice present from all of you. Here we go with the second hour, everyone.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Second hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do you got for us, Clam? Halitus. Halitus is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter @SpacedOutRadio and on Instagram @SpacedOutRadioShow. We continue on with the roundtable tonight. We have Goof on Radio's Rich Giordano, Science Bob McGuire, Lynn Wallington, our resident witch with unicorn hair, and speaking of great hair and beard, we have Joe and we have Ben from the UFO Garage podcast. So if you haven't tuned them in before, just find them all over the streaming sites as well as YouTube. They are fantastic. Same as Rich. Make sure you sign up for Goof On as well on YouTube. Everyone, welcome back.
Great to be back, Dave.
Heck yeah, man.
What's up, dude?
Lynn, we're going to start with you on this one, okay? If you don't mind.
Okay.
All right.
Not at all.
Paranormal lockdowns. Recently, I've talked to a number of paranormal people and seen a lot of posts about people complaining about these paranormal teams and groups. Doesn't matter where they are in Canada, the United States, the UK, wherever they may be. But for some reason, they've decided to go into these locations, whether a bar or a restaurant or a museum, and made these people sign contracts stating that no other paranormal team is allowed to investigate this area except the team they've signed the contract with. Is this really necessary in the paranormal, Lynn?
So they sign the contract stating they can't investigate at the same time, or just at all?
At all.
No, that's not necessary. That's stupid. Like, why would you limit that? If you're interested in finding evidence or experiencing the paranormal, why are you limiting it to only you and your team? We should be open to the whole paranormal community being able to investigate. That way we get more evidence as a group.
Well, I would think so too. I mean, but the fact is, I don't think there's much more ego needed or necessary to show how much egotistical attitudes there are in the paranormal than trying to disallow other people from going in. Look, I have no problem with locations, Lynn, saying, look, we don't want a lot of investigators here. We don't want investigations every weekend or every single night because A, it takes staff. You have to pay them. B, you want to make sure your facility, whether it's a restaurant or an office or a museum, isn't run over by a bunch of people. And C, you want to make sure that the people coming in are respectable and responsible. But if you lock down a location, how are you supposed to be able to get things done? Because let's face it, if you do any investigation in the paranormal, you know that 90% of the teams out there, and I don't think I'm light on that number, or heavy on that number rather, they're only there for their own thrill. They're not there to solve anything, Lynn.
Okay, Dave. Sounds like you're getting mad at me for that.
No. I apologize.
But
this is your fault.
No, I'm so sorry. I think if the location wants to limit it, fine. I totally get that. That makes sense to me. If you actually believe that your place is haunted, and I'm not saying that they're not, but if they believe that it is, and they say, hey, we don't want to overwhelm our ghosts here, they were people too at one point in time, I'm cool with that. But I don't agree with a team coming in and saying, we want you to sign, this contract stating that we will be the only people that are ever going to get to investigate this. I just think that's wrong, and it is just their ego.
Mm-hmm. Ben, let's get your opinion on this.
I think the first thing that I've heard about as far as like excluding anyone from investigating a paranormal event or site was Skinwalker Ranch. So this is news to me that this is happening. So, number one, I think it's counterproductive. And also, man, what's up with all the censorship? I mean, we've got like the stock market is like stopping people from buying stuff, and there's a lot of censorship going on. Just let people be curious. I mean, circling back to that, let people have fun and investigate things for their own volition. Like, why is there so much 1984 stuff happening right now? I think that's kind of weird. And to that point, if there wasn't a gravity to this anomaly, this paranormal stuff, if there wasn't like, hey, don't do that. It's like your parents saying, don't go in that room because there's like sharp objects or something. It's almost like whoever's in charge of these sites and preventing people from investigate them know that there's something dangerous, or I don't know, maybe if you do open that door, you might open up a dimensional window that the government is privy to. Maybe, with this gateway project stuff that's been leaked in this past month. I think that a lot of people are starting to realize that the government knows a lot more than they've been leading on. So this dimensional stuff, as we've been hearing a lot in the news, maybe there's a reason why stuff has been locked down, or going back to the paranormal stuff. Another reason why Skinwalker Ranch might be off limits. Like, don't go there. There's a gate there that you don't want to go messing with whatever is having a little field day. And maybe they're contained to that area, and that's why they're like, hey, don't go here. It's for your own good.
Richie G, I'm bringing you in here on this.
Yeah.
I know you'll have some thoughts.
Nobody's ever died from a ghost attack that I know of. Anybody? I don't know of anyone.
I have not.
Right. Well, it's very scary. It's very dangerous. But I guess we're still on the topic of, do they have a right to do that and contain that area for themselves? I don't know the laws, but there's only one reason why they would do it. It's just so they could have the best evidence. It might be a very active place. I mean, I'm trying to put myself in their position. Why would I want this hotspot for UFOs all to myself, which would be impossible. But if I thought that way, well, I don't want anybody else to know that I'm catching the UFOs here. That's just awful. That just minimalizes the researching that has to go on at that place. I can't speak. So, yeah, it's very selfish. Yeah, it shouldn't be allowed.
See, Rich, one of my things about it is, if the majority of these ghost teams were not out there to just talk about whether or not a location is haunted or anything. Let me rephrase it. I always say this about ghost. If you ever want to confuse a ghost hunter, ask them what they do with their evidence. What do you do with your evidence? The majority of them cannot answer that question. Well, we collect it. Well, what do you mean you collect it? What do you do with it? Well, we store it in a database. Okay, well, what do you do with that database? Well, what do you mean? Well,
that's such a good point.
You have to do something with it. What do you do with it? Well, we're out there doing scientific investigation. No, you're not. Are you in an enclosed environment? Are you trying to repeat the subject matter? Your gear may be made scientifically, but it's totally not. So my question to you is, Rich, in regards to that, I mean, if they're not doing anything with the evidence, how do we move forward? Or is it even worth locking down a location?
I know. I don't have an answer, because you have to put yourself in their position and know what led up to that point that they have the balls, to even want to even do that to a location. So it really, to me, doesn't make any sense. I don't have a logical explanation other than they just want that location for themselves. And yes, they're going to be stacking up their portfolio full of all this evidence, and then what are they going to do with it, and why aren't they doing anything with it? Like you said, I'm repeating what you said because I'm trying to think it through, and there's no logical explanation. It's just greed on that for that team, I think.
Exactly. Science Bob, in his Woo Train t-shirt tonight, bought at the Facebook store that we have. I mean, I saw you rolling your eyes there just a few minutes ago in regards to this. I mean, does this, from a scientific standpoint, even make sense?
No. So I mean, look, no scientist of any note or merit is going to tell another scientist, you can't go where I went, since that's what science does. Right. Science puts out a hypothesis, they do a test, then others repeat it to see if they made a mistake. So, no, this is just complete anathema to science. And those that lock it down, they're trying to bank money.
Okay, so Bob, the other question to you would be, apparently we have all of this evidence of paranormal, of EVPs, of videos, of shadow people, and photographs, and ectoplasm, and whatever it may be. We have allegedly all of this evidence, and nobody is doing anything with it. It's sitting in hard drives, hundreds, if not thousands of hard drives all across the world. I mean, is that just wasted evidence, or what would you, if you could get your hands on that evidence, Bob, what would you do with it?
Okay, so let's suppose that I'm a scientist and I want to do research, and typically I would be at either a foundation or a university. But in both of those places, the scientist needs funding to do the research. There's no funding available to do the research unless some big-time, wealthy person endows the research to be done. So it's a very difficult thing you're asking for. So you stack the data up and hope it's analyzed. But the analysis, if it's ever going to be accepted by the worldwide scientific community, has to be funded and papers written about it. I'm just telling you how it works. And if that isn't what you want to do, then don't claim you're doing science.
That's a kick to the teeth to about, 90 out of 100 paranormal investigators right there.
What I'm going to tell you, if they can't be doing science if they're not doing that.
Joe.
Is that place...
Oh, go ahead, Rich. Sorry. No, that was my fault. We do this every show. It's my fault.
Well, the place that they wanted to single out and keep for themselves, what type of place is this?
It could be anything. I know there are. I know, for instance, in the lower mainland of British Columbia, there are two major groups that are kind of, rocking and rolling against each other, trying to lock down these locations. And, and basically they go to, the town hall and say, look, we want to be, to make sure that nobody breaks anything in your buildings. We want to sign a contract with you, so we're the only paranormal team who can get in there. It could be museums, it could be restaurants, it could be, bars or office buildings or heritage houses or whatever it may be, Rich.
Yeah, okay. I just thought we were talking about one location. I must have not heard it correctly. Okay, thanks. Yeah, that makes sense. And I didn't know that was going on. That's unbelievable. There's anything, I never heard of that in ufology, but I could see that happening in, in locations, because those are isolated. You can't really cordon off the sky, so I guess that makes sense.
No, I fully agree with you on that. To me, it just reeks of arrogance. It really does. Yeah. And Joe, I want to bring you in here because you haven't had a say on this one yet, but I'm curious your thoughts.
Dude, I agree with you, man. It does breathe this sense of arrogance for sure. If you're gonna say, this is my spot, nobody else can come here, and you're also claiming that hey, we're trying to get do real research here. It's how do you prove what you found? If there's nobody else racking their minds on it, it seems pretty silly to me, man. I totally agree. It's very it's everybody wants to figure it out. You see that a lot in the UFO community too. Sometimes people just don't want to share because it's I want to be the one to figure it out. Well, I don't think that's going to happen for any one person. I think we should definitely be sharing all of this information. Again, how do you figure it out if it's just you? That's really the ego talking. I just don't want somebody else to figure it out before me.
All right, let's step back into the Bigfoot world here as we continue on with the round table tonight. Rich Giordano, Joe Strelski. We got Super Ben wearing his hat backwards. Science Bob McGuire and Lynn Wallington, our resident witch here with beautiful unicorn hair. And we're going to step right back into ufology because in the state of Oklahoma, they are putting a $25,000 bounty on Bigfoot. A $25,000 bounty on Bigfoot. All right, and you can officially get, if it passes through the budget, you can officially sign up for a Bigfoot hunting license. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I want to do this. I'm not even a hunter, okay? But just to say that I am carrying in my wallet a Bigfoot hunting license, that is badass. That is serious. But 25 grand. And Ben, let's start with you on this one, man.
Dude, I saw this on my Facebook come up. It's a joke. Is it a joke or is it?
No, it's serious. It is in. They brought it or trying to bring it into law.
Yeah. So, just a story real quick. I said something to a buddy of mine hey, did you see that thing about in Oklahoma you can get a hunting license for Bigfoot? No, what are you talking about? So right there, my newsfeed is very geared towards I guess my personality and what I look up on the internet. But I don't know, man. I side with you, Dave. That would be really cool to have in my wallet. But also I feel and I'm going to say, it might be a little I don't know, racist isn't the right term, but if it turns out to be this thing is for real and there's evidence, it's oh no, I have a hunting license to kill this person that's just as smart as me, if not smarter. And I would feel really bad about that. And they're I just see it happening. I'm at a dinner party 10 years from now and Bigfoot is invited and his family. They're hanging out with my kids and they're having a good time, and I'm going to feel really awkward because I feel that's going to be tracked in some way in the future. So although I think it's a really fun idea, I don't think I'll be applying for that tag.
What's screwed up about this, and I was thinking about this, there are going to be some idiots out there who go rent monkey costumes to run around the forest now. There will be. There are going to potentially be fake Bigfoot killed over this because $25,000, you see somebody running around in a costume, you're going to put a bullet there. And somebody is going to be stupid enough to run through the forest claiming to the Bigfoot, trying to get that money. All right? Lynn, you're just shaking your head.
Well, I guess they'll learn their lesson. Like, don't do stupid things. Like,
dear.
To tell you, survival of the fittest. So, I don't even know how to respond to this.
Just don't bring Jack Link's barbecue flavored beef jerky. Like, watch out for those commercials being filmed. And I feel like this is just it's opening up some floodgates for some shenanigans to happen.
We could say it's opening up an opportunity for some really entertaining stupidity.
Yeah. It also might be deterring people that would want to fake a Bigfoot encounter or video. There's a lot out there in recent times, and it really pisses me off because it's like, damn it, I really believed you. And then 2 weeks later, it turns out, I mean,
we've all
this is anecdotal, but it's like you put all this time and effort, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is it. And then you look a little bit closer a couple days later with a little fresher mind, a little less wine in you. And then, it's like, oh, damn, that was a mask, man. But maybe that will stop people from doing that. I don't know. Maybe
I don't think so. I don't think so, because there's always the Darwin Award winners out there that will, make things happen. But, I mean, the legislation basically says that there has been a lot of Bigfoot sightings over the years in Oklahoma, and they want to try and prove the existence of the species. And one way to do that is to send people out in the forest to hunt for this and put a monetary value on bringing a body back for scientific investigation. Joe, you almost look like Sasquatch, I'll be honest with you.
I've gotten that a few times, man. Honestly, I don't know how much I have to say about this. I think one of the main thing is being from Texas. I would have to say, of course, Oklahoma did that, right? And I mean, I think it's pretty entertaining. I think it's kind of cool. I think it really gets people thinking. Like, well, first of all, I guess my question would be, what season is Bigfoot season in? Right? Is it in between baseball season? Football season? I don't know. Like, it's kind of a weird thing. It'd be kind of cool. I know down here, like, you can hunt like hogs like year round. So like maybe it's the same thing for Bigfoot, and they can hunt Bigfoot year round. But dude, having a Bigfoot license is equally as cool as having like a KISS Army license, like in your wallet. It has that same like effect to it. You're like, dude, yes, I got this KISS Army license in my pocket, but I also have a Bigfoot hunting license. Or like whenever, because I did this and I always flash it all the time, but whenever I got this little license so I could marry people, and I just have it in my wallet, and I'm like, I can totally marry you because I did it on the internet. It's one of those types of licenses, man. But I think it's hilarious. And at the same time, if people are saying, yeah, you can get a license to hunt Bigfoot, I can pretty much guarantee you there's going to be a lot of licenses to go look for Bigfoot.
I bet Gene Simmons has all three of those licenses.
Oh, I'm sure. I am sure.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. But it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because the other night we were talking about this on the show, and Duke from World Bigfoot Radio, another great YouTube channel, said that I believe there is a law in the United States that any new creature, or it is illegal up to 10 years in jail and up to $1 million fine to kill any new or nearly extinct species in North America or in the United States. So does Bigfoot fall under that category? I don't know. We're going to continue the Bigfoot hunting in Oklahoma debate coming up with the round table guests tonight. Rich Giordano, Lynn Wallington, Ben and Joe from UFO Garage, and Science Bob McGuire on Spaced Out Radio. I want one of those licenses so bad, man. I do. I want one of those.
Yes.
I tell you,
WTAF over.
there's one way you want to
WTAF.
impress the ladies. It's to pull out a Bigfoot hunting.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, let me
Hell
ask you
yeah.
then, well, will you be impressed?
Hey, so we're having a great
I
conversation.
feel like, wow,
Check this out.
that
So,
is something.
what are you doing later?
Mm-hmm. What do you,
I have something to add, but I kind of I feel like it's a good idea, so I'm gonna kind of sit on it for a second. But it has to do with that species thing you just mentioned, Dave. I'm writing notes so I can pick it back up, dude.
all right.
Wow. taking
Like
notes.
this, I guess I don't know. I like to write down stuff because my brain I've like the memory of a turtle, so every 2 seconds I just forget everything. But yeah, the species thing, I'll just can we even claim that interdimensional species? Can we even?
We don't know. We don't know. Right?
Yeah.
How very American, though. Just kill it. Bring it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Really? All right.
Mm-hmm. Hey, G, you
So,
need something like that
I'm
in
with-
Arizona.
I'm with Politis. How does a 2 or 3-year-old child walk over a boulder field for 20 miles?
Exactly.
No
Yeah.
friggin' way.
And up a mountain.
Up a mountain 3,000 feet, but it's 12 miles by trails.
Yeah.
It weren't his shoes just immaculate?
Pristine. Pristine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, he believes it's Bigfoot. You can just, but he's all, the guy, I believe he believes it's Bigfoot or something equivalent.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I also respect that he hasn't gone 100% into that. I love that he leads you to make your mind up for yourself. So I really
He's just presenting evidence. He is doing observational science on a statistical anomaly he's found at national parks. I love this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you said something a little bit earlier, Bob, about the information and the data. Don't the park services, they have a lot of data of these missing people, but you have to pay a lot of money to get that data, and no one communicates with each other, right? There's something in those 411 missing 411 documentaries.
$1.4 million they wanted to charge him for the missing person database.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Not everybody's Dave Portnoy, okay? That's
kidding.
weird.
That's who we need in this field is somebody like Dave Portnoy to come out from Barstool and just say, hey, let's bring it on out. Let's do this thing.
It's possible. The guy, he could, I think he's a pretty, if we present it in a way, we just got to make it, funny in some way. That I think he loves funny stuff. If we could make this subject funny and get on get on one, he would.
Well, one thing is a federal judge in California said the National Park Service may not prohibit people from filming in parks. That happened in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
Interesting.
I have to say there is somebody in YouTube from my town, 100 Mile House in here, Mike Hawk. Hey, Mike Hawk, how are you from 100 Mile House?
Yes.
I hope you're not frozen.
Mike Hawk definitely has a Bigfoot hunting license.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I seem to have a few listeners from around town here, I do. I know little Marky Spender's in here somewhere. Yep. He finally bought a side-by-side so we could go riding. And we're going to bring Science Bob and the G up to come riding with us. Hey, G, are you alive?
Yep.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
That's all we need. Love me some goof on. Love me some goof on. We're ready in about 40 seconds here, everyone. And we'll continue on. Great city of 100 Mile. Yes. All
yeah,
right.
Dave, when you oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, like, when you talk about your city, I don't know exactly what city, but I always picture in my mind like you're on this mountaintop and there's just snow everywhere, and there's like Bigfoot on the exterior. It just seems like a very magical place.
No, it is. Literally, you described it. That's exactly what it is. It's kind of cool. All right, hold on, guys. 1 second here. We're gonna go. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us on the SOR Round Table night. Want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue with the roundtable tonight, talking about hunting Bigfoot in Oklahoma. We are joined by Science Bob McGuire from Goof On YouTube channel. We have Rich Giordano. You definitely want to hit the subscribe button on that one. Also, hit the subscribe button on UFO Garage Podcast with Joe and Ben. They are on YouTube as well. And our resident witch, who just got her hair done to look like a unicorn, except she doesn't have a horn yet, Lynn Wallington. Rich, I want to start with you on this one to kick off this next half hour regarding the potential of getting a Bigfoot hunting license in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's a bipedal possible connection to who we are. Could be part of that. Oh, God, of course I would forget the name of him. The big ape that was before us but thought was extinct.
Neanderthal?
No, not that one.
Gigantopithecus?
Gigantopithecus, thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, that could be walking around having somewhat of intelligence and or maybe the ability to have the woo to just disappear when it senses you around. People have talked about that it's hard to catch Bigfoot on video because he can sense it and feel it or the vibration from it, whatever recording device you have. So if you put all that together, getting people to go out there with a license to go look for something that could or could not be maybe a man in a suit, you're looking for trouble like we've been talking about. And I believe you're going to see an accident or two because of it. I think it's dangerous, and I don't think we should be shooting Bigfoot just to prove it. We didn't have to shoot gorillas when we found the new species a few years ago, and we thought we found them all. So it's bad logic.
I would agree with you, Rich, on that. I think it's bad logic. I think there's going to be at least a minimum of 418 Oklahomans dead by the end of 2021 due to wearing monkey suits in the forest. You know, I mean, this is serious, but it is serious stuff. And, you know, Bob, there's nothing that scientists would love than to prove this species exists with a body. Let's be honest. You would love to be able to bring that out, and somebody will do it. Dr. Jeff Meldrum out of the University of Montana has been trying for years to get it done. He hasn't been able to get it done, but he's found some incredible evidence and some incredible patterns in almost like family atmospheres of this creature. When you look at something as silly as this law that could actually be enacted of hunting Bigfoot with a $25,000 reward, what's your opinion scientifically?
I don't want to kill something that's a hominid. It might be intelligent. I'm happy if I get some skin cells and hair and can look at the genetic code. I'm happy with that. That's enough.
Do you want one? Do you want a license, Bob?
No.
I mean, you live in Alabama. That's almost like right next door, is it not?
It is, but there's enough stupidity in Alabama that I don't need to contribute to it in Oklahoma.
Well said.
They don't need any help.
Well, I don't need any more friggin' help to deal with stupid people.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like the story, if someone were to actually shoot this entity, I feel like the story that we would hear is like, yeah, his last dying words were like, I was gonna tell you the secrets of the universe, man, and you shot me, and we'll never know.
Man,
It might be about to tell you how the portals work. I mean, come on.
I was going to walk you through a portal, man, and now we're not going there. You're a jerk.
Like, I felt your vibrations. I knew you were a good dude, and I just wanted to approach you and say, "Hey, dude, hey, I want to tell you." And then you shot him, and now it's sad for everybody.
And then he pulls out pictures of his family.
Yeah,
This is my wife.
It's like 3 feet long.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Time to switch gears here, everyone. Let's get back.
Please.
I know. Let's get back into the UFO world here for a second. Okay, as the token Canadian here on the panel tonight, and we are broadcasting all over North America on terrestrial radio, I do have to ask you guys this question. Why does it have to be the United States that we all have to look upon to bring disclosure forward so the world can finally have its angels or aliens come down with their harps and their singing and choirs going, oh, disclosure. You know, do we really, really need the United States to confirm this in order for the world to go, aliens are here? I want to start with you, G.
Yes is the answer. Because we're the ones that have the most secrets. Well, I don't know that's a fact, but I think we have the best secrets. And I think the rest of the world looks to the United States to be the forefront of ufology and bringing the discovery of aliens to the Earth or wherever they come from. Yeah, people look up to America, and not only for that, but for our food. And that was stupid, I know, but.
We got a lot of really great corn and cows here.
Lots of corn, beef. I mean, there's a lot of cattle.
Beef.
But, it is scary. It's scary to think about, though. I don't know where I was going to go, Dave. What were we talking about?
In regards to the USA having to be the ones who disclose aliens for the world.
But don't you think that it's from what I just said? I think it's because we have the best secrets. You just heard about the 4 or 5 years ago, the Tic Tac event and then the 3 videos. And we're the ones putting the stuff out there more than the other countries. At least that's how I see it. I know, Spain and Germany and China have their little things, but not like the U.S. The U.S. is infatuated with UFOs and aliens.
All right. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Science Bob, let's bring you in here.
Did?
I think it did. But then again, I'm Canadian. I understand things differently.
True.
Yes.
I think anytime we neglect 3/4 of the Earth's population for evidence, we're being a dumbass.
Yep.
So we should look everywhere.
Okay, but the fact is, though, the rest of the world has their eyes on you guys because Roswell, number 1, Kecksburg, Marfa Lights, Phoenix Lights, the Appalachian robot monster alien thing there. I forget what that one's called. The one that Stanton Friedman looked into. All right?
The O'Hare incident.
Yeah, exactly. The O'Hare incident.
Jetpack man.
Jetpack guy, who I still think is Giordano. I don't know why, but I totally think that's Giordano. But nonetheless, there is all of these scenarios that have been highly publicized outside of maybe Rendlesham and a couple of other cases, the elementary school in South Africa. Okay, but it always seems to happen around the United States. And I think that's why, as the outsider to this entire panel, Bob, that's why everybody's looking at you guys saying, what are you hiding? What do you know? Because you got some really great toys that other countries can't afford. Where'd you get the technology for that?
Well, we also have the most exquisite set of unbelievably expensive and unreal capability sensors circling the globe, looking at it for intelligence on all sorts of things. So we could, but we're never going to, because we're not going to reveal sources and methods to our adversaries. So forget it. Now, once you take that off the table, because you're never going to hear from it, we're just a bunch of Joes like everybody else with our cell phone cameras. And we should be looking to us and to everybody else for the data. There's as many cell phones. There are more cell phones in China than there are in the United States now.
Mm-hmm. And no access to Twitter or Facebook.
Exactly. So how do we don't know what they've got. They have a UFO group, but I'm sure it's state controlled.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to you, Lynn. What's your thoughts? Why does it have to be the United States to disclose for the entire world?
Well, Dave, I don't know if you know this about Americans, but we're charmingly egotistical. The world revolves around us.
No.
It's a confidence thing. I think we believe it. No, I don't know. It's funny because I always thought that the U.S. held back a lot of their information. But when you were sitting there listing out all of these events that have happened and taken place, I was kind of like, oh, we do have a lot. Wow, that's exciting. So I don't know. You've confused me now. I don't know. That's my answer. Sorry.
Well, we'll accept that because of the unicorn hair. Okay. Joe Strelski, let's get you in here. Why does it have to be the United States? Why can't it be Luxembourg? Why can't it be Venezuela? Why can't it be New Zealand or Canada or somebody along those lines?
Man, I think it could be, but would anybody listen? Anybody from America, at least, would we listen? I find it funny that, we have is America so obsessed with the topic because we've kept it the most secret? It seems like other countries kind of openly talk about it a little bit more than we do. Just because we have these amazing things that have happened here in the United States, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen everywhere else all the time. In my line of work, I work with people from Venezuela and Peru and Mexico, and, they understand kind of the stuff that I do, and, I'll show them things, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, we see that stuff all the time. Like, those people in other countries are experiencing a lot of stuff. They may not have the technology and the means to build certain things, but they have a lot more time to be looking at the sky, so they see a lot of stuff. It seems like they see a lot more stuff than we do. But for the United States, if Venezuela were to be like, yeah, aliens are real, like, what would the United States reaction be? I don't think it'd be very grand. So, in my opinion, I think it's only a big deal that the United States releases it because we've been the most secret about it.
Well, if it was Venezuela, they would say those are alien socialists.
yeah, it would be a whole nother bag of worms to deal with. But yeah, man, I mean, do I think it's important that the U.S. discloses? Like, yeah, I guess, but even if they did, like, literally, that's all we want to hear is yes. Aliens exist. Other than that, like, the rest of the information, it's either like redacted or like I got to read 5,000 pages of it. It's like, dude, can you just say they exist or they don't? That's all anybody wants. So, if somebody has proof, I don't care if it's like, Madagascar or whatever. They're like, yeah, we have proof. Here you go. Like, it should count.
Can I counter that for a quick second, though? Because, Joe,
go for it.
There are other people out there and other countries out there who have let their files known. Japan recently came out. France has done it. Mexico has done it. In some very, cosmic way that nobody can understand, Canada has released a lot of their older stuff. We're seeing the U.S. slowly starting to trickle out, but a lot of the South American countries have as well, and European countries. So this isn't new. It just seems like, in my opinion, I think it all has to do with the fact that the U.S. gets the best toys.
Right.
Okay. You're the gold medal standard for military-industrial complex spending. You launch beautiful rockets into space, courtesy of a Canadian who's American and South African, and and you have all of this really interesting stuff going on. I mean, I think it's the secrets that are what's keeping everything, or the eyes of the world, on the United States with this. That's my opinion.
Oh, I agree completely. But if like I said, if somebody else said, "Hey, aliens are real," and then the United States 20 years later is like, "Hey, guess what, guys? Aliens are real." It's like, wah wah. Like, all right, cool, yeah, we're late to the party. Like, good job.
But you are the party, though. You are the party of the world.
I mean, we are the party, but we're the party that, like,
we're also the police.
Everybody else has already been talking about it. And then, like, we decided, oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to throw this really big party, and we're going to invite everybody. And they were like, guess what? We discovered aliens. And it's like, I mean, I guess, dude. Like, I mean, sure. That's what everybody's already been saying. It almost kind of makes me feel silly. Like, I don't know. American-wise, it's like, I don't know.
I hear you. Ben, you get the final word on this one.
Dude, I just love that because, yeah, Joe, you're right. We are, like, America is the party. We're the biggest distributor of media, of celebrities, of movies and TVs. Like, we make really good stuff, but we're also, like, kind of like world police. So we're also this other standard. It's a weird mixture where I feel that's the main reason why everybody's waiting. Oh, what's America going to say? Because, whatever they say is probably going to influence. I'm not saying it's going to, say this is what it is, but whatever America says ends up being a really big deal. Either way. So yeah, it's media, and it's also, we have this influence worldwide that, hey, we've got some really cool guns and some really a lot of friends. So if they say, hey, go over to this place and do our bidding, we're going to do that, and it's going to be really easy. It's like a video game. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, that's why it matters. I think that's why everybody's waiting for us to say anything about it.
I think you're just excited to talk.
I'm always excited to talk.
We love it.
Oh, yes. So I should tell you my first meeting with these guys, partying with Joe and Ben in San Francisco at UFO Con last year. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and we're all hanging around. Science Bob is there. We're all having a drink, and they bring in the biggest bottle of wine I have ever seen. Okay, this thing is at least 25 gallons, all right, between the two of them. And they wouldn't even share. They would not even share. No, I'm teasing on that. I'm teasing on that. You did offer. You did offer. But no, absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. It also ties into what we're going to get into next. And we'll carry this into the next half hour of the show as well, as we got about 6 minutes left before we got to go to break at the top of the hour on the SOR Round Table. Oumuamua is back in the news because Harvard professor Avi Loeb has a new book coming out, believing that we do have aliens here, that we do have visitors that are coming from interstellar locations to visit us here. Science Bob, I want you to take us on a little trip here. How much should we be paying attention to Avi Loeb from Harvard on this subject?
Well, look, first of all, the guy's like big astronomy chief at Harvard, so you got to listen to him. But once you listen to him and look at his book, then you've got to ask, what's the quality of his evidence? What are the claims he's making? And what's the evidence for the claims he's making? And so he's recently put out a couple of statements and citations of a paper that's in rough draft form. So anything that's on this archive.org from Cornell is rough draft. It hasn't gone through peer review. It's not in a real journal. And so the evidence in it is weak. I'm just going to tell you it's really weak. So it's indicative, but it's weak. And what the claim is, this paper shows that Oumuamua is not a flat cigar-shaped asteroid, but a tumbling flying saucer. And they make an argument, and there's some evidence of that. It looks like, but it's not enough to convince a scientist that it's a flying saucer. It's wiggly light curves that they have like 5% of the light curve, and they fill in the rest of it with a guess. It's just not good evidence. So I hope he does better. I would love for him to be able to prove that this is an alien spacecraft flying through, checking us out like Rendezvous or Rama, but I just don't think it is.
But what if it is, Ben? What if it is? What if it is an alien spacecraft who says, I want to go check this out, does a little flyby to see what's happening with our radio signals or other signals that we're putting out to the universe to check it on out?
What if it is? I'm leaning toward it definitely was. I don't know if you guys looked at the science of the recordings of why they or how they were able to say this object was more flat than round, which is very odd. So if an object like an asteroid is round, the reflections of the light from the sun is a little bit more predictable, but this guy was really flat. So to me, I think it was definitely a created structure, but it could also be just like a crazy shard of something. But yeah, if it is an alien created structure, then we just got like a peace sign. Like, hey, we're here, but we're not going to tell you we're here. We're just checking you out. I don't know if it's negative or positive.
Well, maybe they made the wrong turn at Albuquerque. Right?
Yeah.
Rich Giordano, Oumuamua. Was it aliens? Can we believe, as we got about 2 minutes before we got to go to break, can we believe that this might be aliens?
So I don't know, man. There was some data in the report that said it was speeding up when it should have been slowing down or something like that. And when these objects go, use the sun, they don't use the sun, but they get sucked in by the sun's gravity and they can go whipped around. Well, this thing seemed to slow down, and that shouldn't have happened. And then again, we don't know everything. There's all different types of rocks out there we haven't seen, especially if this was an interstellar object. It came from someplace we just don't know about. And it could have been a shard from an old moon, an asteroid, who knows what. But I don't know. There were no signals coming off of it, right? It was dead pretty much, right?
We detected no light or radio signals.
Right, but it did act I think it just acted weird because we weren't familiar with it. Maybe it's passed by the sun 1,000 times and there's no ice left on it to create the tail of a comet, but it is a weird-looking comet. That could have broken up 2 or 3 times. Nobody knows. That's all I got, Dave. I mean, really, it's always going to be a mystery, I think.
So we know definitely it came from well outside the solar system. The way we know that is, let's suppose it's a rock. Then we know from its path, both the path and the velocity says it did not originate here because there was no rocket to make it go that fast. It came from somewhere else. Okay, so the deal is it artificial or not? There's an argument that these light curves show that it's a flat spinning plate, and I don't think the evidence is strong enough.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue on because other people need to comment on this as we continue on. And, Rich, you can continue as well because we kind of love your opinion around here. The SOR Round Table continues in hour number 3 next as we continue to talk Oumuamua. We're going to get into Robert Bigelow as well because he's got a new baby he's created about near-death studies and time travel. If any of our guests could travel back in time to a Woo event of their own, what would it be? What would they do differently? On Spaced Out Radio, hour 3 next with the panel. All right, we're clear. I'm so excited because Mary Bone is in our chat room. She's a vegetarian, Mary Bone, Mary Bone, Mary Bone. Yes. All right, YouTube is on. You guys chat away. I'm going to run my dogs out. I'll be right back. Hey, Drake, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Chat away. Chat away, chat away, chat away. Chat away, chat away. Ben loves his Orinoco flowing. Anyways.
I want to know what drugs he's doing.
Yeah, right. Got some good ones tonight.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I tell you what, Bob, though, it's making my night seeing you kick back in your robot room. It's awesome.
Yeah, so, let me show you my alien computer.
Yes.
Okay, let me see. Let me find my mouse cursor. Okay, so see my alien colored computer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that thing is a marvel.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's a artificial intelligence machine learning supercomputer, and I'm having so much of a blast with it.
Wow.
Did
That's
you
incredible.
name it Bob?
I built it from parts.
He named it Rich.
Might have.
Oh, I'm not very imaginative. I gave it my amateur radio call sign and ML for machine learning. That's not very imaginative. Well, but basically that's so I can remember it.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm having fun with what I'm finding out about technology because it's just like, wow, technology is taking off.
So let me ask you,
and it's getting cheap.
but Bob, it is. I just bought a 6 terabyte hard drive for what, $80, $70?
Oh,
yeah, it was 70.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. It wasn't the SS. What is it? SSDI or SSID?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the regular one. But Bob, where are we? How far away are we from quantum computing actually working for everybody?
For
Yeah.
everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's it. So we're still in the material science phase.
Okay.
So there are several different candidates for a quantum system we can compute with. And the material science that makes it cheaply reproducible and the reliable is a deal. Right now, you've got to build a multi-million-dollar cage to hold the quantum computer, or the universe clobbers its activity. So it has to be isolated from the universe and cooled to 0.2 degrees Kelvin. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So it was costing Virginia Tech when we got our deal. We was $100,000 in cooling.
Wow.
Just to run the thing, and it is a toy.
I can imagine.
So yeah, we're not there. We know what we need. What we don't know is how to make what we need. It's a material science problem.
Oh wow. So they don't have any quantum computing computers at all. What is that one?
We have quantum computers. They are not practical for doing anything like business or optimization for moving the traffic around the country in an optimal way. So they can't solve the traveling salesman problem, which would save $1 trillion. Even though they know the quantum computer can do it, they can't build it because they can't make it big enough.
I gotcha. Wow, that's so wild.
It's pretty interesting.
So what would change? I mean, what material you don't know? I guess, huh?
No. So we know we need to be able to control the material.
Yeah. Okay.
And so people don't know what entangled mean, but you realize you can entangle one particle with another. To make a really large, say 100,000 bit quantum computer, you need to entangle all 100,000 bits. We have no clue how to do it.
Wow. That's wild stuff.
I'm sorry, and control it.
Okay.
I mean, you can't run a program on something you can't control.
So what do you think? 20 years?
Oh, I think it's faster than that, and the U.S. government's spending billions now trying to get there. There's some good ideas. They're just not proven yet. And places, China is pushing hard. Australia is doing amazing work. I think it'll happen.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Everything will change.
Like, how would driving a car change?
You would have you'd have a radio that would get you to the internet, and it would tell you optimally how to go and everybody else, and it would organize you. Oh, Dave's getting mean now.
Who's Dave? Who's Dave? Dave is not here. It is only I, El Ovli Volador.
Oh no, it's him.
It's
he.
cheap. It's for the kids.
Oh, my tequila.
Hello, Holly. Hello, space travelers. It is I, El Ovni Volador. Hello, Ghost Sight.
I love the glasses on the outside.
What are you talking about?
Oh my god, this is awesome.
Let me tell you something,
Let me tell you something, brother.
Go right ahead, brother.
I'm going to do a show right now, brother. I'm cutting your microphone right now.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway. I am El Ovni Volador, filling in for Dave Scott in this hour, but that is okay because now the show finally gets interesting. Want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do El Ovni a favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Halitus. Halitus is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night, right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with the SOR panel as Dave's moved away. We don't know where he is. I kicked him out of the studio. It is I, El Ovni Volador, hanging out with Lynn Wallington, the Ukrainian unicorn, we'll call her. I don't know. Why not? We have from UFO Garage, Ben and Joe. We have Science Bob McGuire. And we have Rich Giordano from Goof On. And we are continuing on the talk about Oumuamua. Hanging out here in our atmosphere. Flying by, doing a little zip trek. You know, jumping off the top ropes, trying to make sure the humans are real down on the planet. And Rich, I want to finish this topic off with you about this. Do you think this was a sign that we were being investigated?
Well, as Bob stated earlier, I don't think the evidence is good enough, or, you know, it doesn't validate that that was a UFO or a ship or anything like that. No. That's it, Dave. I can't look at you like that. It's making me laugh. When you look right at the camera, it's just unreal. I don't know what to do.
Well, on that note, let's continue on. Let's continue on. Billionaire Robert Bigelow out of Las Vegas, better known as Bigelow Aerospace. He has a hotel franchise that he made his multi-millions off of. He has run NIDS. He has run BASS. He has run many projects looking into everything from UFOs to near-death studies. Well, he has a new company out that is putting up $1 million on the line to prove that there is life after death. Lynn, I want to start with you on this one, the Ukrainian unicorn, as we continue on here. Do you think that we're going to get anything in this study in regards to whether or not we can prove that we do continue on after our physical body dies?
I don't know. I mean, there have been a lot of interesting studies that have been done in the past on this subject, with some really interesting results. I don't know how, I'm not familiar with how he's going to go about the study, so I'm not exactly sure what aspect of it he's looking into. But I think there's a lot of interesting avenues you could go down. Are we talking about, do we retain our consciousness after we die? Do we have an actual spirit or soul? I mean, we know that the moment the body dies, we lose a certain, I think it was like, 0.3 ounces or something, like at that moment of death. So I don't know, like what is it that he's looking into? Do you know specifically?
He's putting up $1 million for somebody to write a 25,000-word essay in order to answer the questions on, can we prove that there is life after death? And this comes after his wife of over 50 years passed away, and he wants to know what is going on. He's also lost a son to suicide about 30 years ago, and this has been something that has really bothered him on whether or not he'll be able to see, or any of us will be able to see, our families again from loved ones who've passed on. We've all been affected by it. We all are going to have it happen to us, unfortunately, but we got to be able to do this.
So he's just looking for someone to write an essay on what happens, or do they have any proof? Is he looking for proof?
They're looking for the best evidence that can prove whether or not there is life after death.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really sound like a scientific study, so I think this is just kind of his grief, and this is the way he's dealing with it. Other than that, I don't know that there's going to be a lot that comes from it. I hope there is. I think that would be fascinating.
Well, let's find out from the rest of the panel. Let's go over to you, Ben. Are you going to write an essay? Could be worth $500,000.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I think I could write maybe a paragraph. Man, I saw that interview with George Knapp, and I was very surprised at how open I would never expect to hear the things that he said come out of Bigelow's mouth, Robert Bigelow's mouth. Like, yeah, the paranormal. I love it. Like he's transitioning into this realization, just as we talked about earlier. I think I was pointing that at Lynn, that this whole thing it's all connected. And I think he's at this point where, in this interview, he references these strange events that are happening with his wife and these orange orbs that are coming to him and seeing it, but he can't get the proof. He can't get it on camera. It's got to be so frustrating, especially for somebody that literally has all the money in the world and still can't do anything about it. I mean, I'm trying to put myself in his place. Like, what do you do? I think it's great. But yeah, am I writing an essay? I don't have enough experience or things that have happened to me, so I could probably write a paragraph like ghosts are cold, right? Like the sun is cold. My buddy Luke says the sun is cold, right?
All right. Well, Joe, let's get to you. What's your opinion on this?
Oh man, I think I kind of agree with Lynn. I think it kind of seems like a way that he's just dealing with it. Again, we had talked about earlier during the whole ghost thing. It was like, okay, I've collected all this data. Now what do we do with it? And then Bob was saying, well, yeah, you got to take this to a university, but the university requires funding. You need funding for all that. So if anything, I think we found our funding, right, for researching a lot of this data is, what do you do with it now? Well, now you have an outlet. Send it to him. Whether or not we get any answers, I mean, that's a whole nother story. But like we were saying earlier, if there's a problem and you're able to throw some money at it, I mean, who better to do it than this guy? He's okay with throwing money at these types of deals. So, yeah, I think short answer, yeah, I mean, there you go. You have your funding.
Little Richie G, I want to bring you in on this, because if I was writing this, if I, as El Ovni Volador, was writing this, okay, I would be talking to near-death experiencers. I would be talking to paranormal investigators. Good ones, not the weekend warriors. I would be talking to scientists about what happens to the body after we die. How would you go about writing a 25,000-word essay to put into this competition about trying to prove whether or not there is life after death?
Wow. I don't even want to say. Maybe personal dreams that made me believe that I died and made me think that I was seeing something, passing out while I'm sleeping in bed from maybe I had a heart attack or something. Because I've had those dreams when I was questioning questioning what's death like. So, I don't know if it has to do with the brain, the way it misfires or whatnot, but I would use those dreams that I had to try to explain in a 25,000-word essay. But I think Bigelow has something else on his mind. If Bigelow does something like this, it's not just, I want to know. He's trying to find people that he could use for research and possibly see who's going to write to him about their stories of dying, coming back. Because he worked for years, 7 years, was it, at whatever ranch that was, Skinwalker Ranch? I think this guy is addicted to finding the truth. I think he needs to get a buzz from doing something that's paranormal and doing something different. Because he's a billionaire who has everything. So why not use that money for something you can't prove or have and possess? And I think he's got some sort of plan for all these essays. It's more than just an essay. It's a competition to see who's going to get the job to work with him.
I never thought about it that way, but that's a very solid point there, Rich. Very solid.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Science Bob.
So Bigelow is taking a larger scale approach to this than you might think. So he is doing this essay, which is, let's just let anybody come on in. But he also gave $4 million to the University of Nevada at Las Vegas to establish a consciousness studies chair and department. And so it's kind of really, really interesting that he's kind of taking this scattershot approach. When his wife Diane died and his son died, he really kind of got serious. And I think all the other activities have not given him satisfaction, so he's going to take a different approach. The things just I'm going to get on my high horse for a minute. The things that pissed me off about these interviews was the stories were wonderful, the things that they confirmed that were poorly kept secrets, like he totally bankrolled Linda when she was doing her cattle mutilation work. He totally bankrolled Bud Hopkins when he was writing about abductions. He's bankrolled half of all the big names you can think of in ufology and lots of other stuff. And he kind of confirmed all that. The problem I have is he kept it all secret. He hasn't shared what he's learned. He put it out there in great big volumes and let everybody have at it. Then I'll be a happier camper.
Okay, but if you were putting together this study, Bob, on trying to figure out life after death, what would you do? What would you want to see in there if you were on the judging panel?
Well, it's an essay, so the essay's got to be written claiming some facts and the proof for the facts, and then you want to make sure that they are reproducible facts. Otherwise, there's no proof. It has to be reproducible. So I've wondered for a while if he wasn't funding Leslie Kane's work, because she's done all of this near-death experience and survival after death work. She now has this big, huge program on Netflix that anybody can see, and I wonder if he's not funding Jeffrey Kripal and Leslie Kane and others. I don't know that he is, but I wonder, because he really is into this. And I just think he's taken the scattershot approach to finding answers about consciousness and after death, because he wants consciousness to know consciousness survives after death.
Well, I mean, why come out in the public, though? I mean, he just disappeared after selling Skinwalker Ranch a few years ago, and his name was finally going off into the sunset. Then, boom, here he is, back at it, throwing money at the wall again, trying to prove one of life's most mysterious questions. I mean, are we supposed to know these answers? Are we allowed to know these answers? I have a lot of philosophical questions about this, and anybody from the panel can jump in at any time in regards to this, but I think... Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
Well, he said anytime. That's why I said that, because he's looking for people who had real experiences without actually asking them. People are going to talk about their near-death experiences, and he's going to try to find out what they saw. Is there a pattern? Is it the same thing everybody's seeing? Is there one thing that maybe he can make contact with his loved ones? Who knows? People die and they have these incredible visions for many, many minutes, even 30 minutes, 45 minutes after they're gone. So, it's an interesting thing he's doing, and I understand it. But I just wish he would release the evidence. Maybe he will this time. Are we going to see all of these essays?
I'm sure we'll see the winning ones.
I would love.
I
hope
guys
so.
Seen the Netflix show called Life After Death?
The
comedy?
Not yet.
You mean Surviving?
No, this is a Leslie Keane show.
Surviving Death. Surviving Death.
Surviving Death. It's
Okay.
awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, so you guys have already referenced that. Sorry. I didn't make that connection, but oh my God, what an awesome show.
It is
my God.
awesome.
Wow. Yeah. I love how they just kind of went through the gamut.
So look, there are massive volumes of near-death experiences, and here's the way they go. The ones that are in these massive collections of near-death experiences are the ones that science cares about, are the following things. Isn't that interesting?
Whoa, this is fun.
That's pretty cute. Okay, that's awesome. The flying saucer has done something neat here. Okay, look. I'm sorry, El Ovni Volador, not flying saucer. So look, the good things are they're as follows. The person's heart stops beating.
Yeah.
And their EEG goes flat. So their neural cortex stops functioning, their heart's not functioning, and they're out for 25 minutes. And what do? While they're completely dead, not breathing with their eyes closed, they're floating over the table. And when they come back after the NDE, they can tell everything that happened in that 25 minutes in the room they're in.
Yep.
That's not easily explained by any other means than part of your consciousness is not corporeal, is not part of your body.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's just enough.
That's enough for me too. To come back from a near-death experience and be able to say, yeah, okay, so I remember these tools that looked
I picked up these tools. They described them perfectly. They were never seen with their eyes open, so they had them knocked out with gas. I mean, this is really good evidence. It's really good evidence.
Yeah. And you know what I love about that show is that they humanize these people. They don't make them a spectacle. They don't make them see like, well, this person thinks that there's life. They spend the time to like get these people's stories. Full circle back to like hearing people's stories. Like, why isn't that more important?
Just so anybody wants my opinion, skip the ectoplasm one and just watch.
Oh my, yes. Yeah. Oh my God, I agree.
Come on, what's wrong with ectoplasm?
Well. It was awful.
It's sticky.
Everybody
knows that. Joe, dude, you're
lots of claims, nothing shown. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on, and I really do hope that Bigelow, like Rich says, releases the winning essays on this because, I think that we're going to gain a lot more information. I mean, it's going to send the paranormal realm off into a total frenzy, like sharks if they ever catch on to some UFO guy wanting to talk about life after death and potential experiences, but Who knows? That one may fly over the paranormal heads as well, at least 88% of them. But nonetheless, we're going to continue on here as we have about 4.5 minutes to go before we go to break at the bottom of the hour on Spaced Out Radio's SOR Round Table. We have Science Bob McGuire, Rich Giordano from Goof On, from UFO Garage. We have Ben and Joe, and the gorgeous and talented witch of Spaced Out Radio, Lynn Wallington, is here. Now, I want to get into a little bit of time travel talk, but not time travel as we normally think about it, because El Ovni Volador likes to do things a little bit differently every now and again. So we're going to start off with you, lovely Lynn, on this one. If you could time travel back to one of your experiences, tell us the experience and what you would do differently.
One of my own personal experiences?
Yes, preferably.
Okay. Well, the first paranormal experience I had, and I would probably travel back to this one because I was so young, but I remember it very vividly. I was in bed, and my grandmother came in and sat down on the corner of my bed. And I looked up, and I was like, oh, okay, and just went back to sleep. And this is my great-grandmother, sorry. And the next morning I woke up and I told my mom, I was like, oh, I didn't know she came over. And she just kind of went white. And she was just like, she died last night. And I was like, okay. So I would love to go back and kind of be a fly on the wall in that moment and witness it from a different perspective and see what really happened there. It's always intrigued me.
What would you do differently? Would you ask her different questions if you knew? What would you do?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think I was about 5, so I just went right back to sleep. There were no questions. So, yeah, talking to her would probably be a good start. Just, yeah, try to find, knowing what I know now, I would definitely ask her questions. And, I mean, I'd be curious.
What would you want to know?
What's it like? Tell me.
What would you want to know?
Everything. We know nothing, so I would want to know everything. I would be asking her, what was it like? What's it like for you now? Where are you? How are you here? All of the above. I'd want to know it all.
See, would you ask questions about your family, about where they grew up? Like, because give you an example. I know nothing of my great-grandparents. Nothing. I know nothing where they came from. I know they came from the Ukraine. I know nothing about them. However, would you want to know about more of your past, or how she died, or is it painful? Well, be specific with me.
I mean, I would want to know, it's hard to be specific for something that we know nothing about, but I would want to know, okay, what was the dying process like? How are you here in my room right now? How am I seeing you? How were you able to do this? Did you know how to do this? Did it just happen? What does it look like where you're at? Are you on the same plane of existence that we are? Are you somewhere else and are you in between? I would want to know all of those things.
And that makes sense. I totally understand with where you would go. And I know for me personally, I would want to go back into the forest that day on April 15th, 2014, when Samantha Mowat tells me, let's walk into the forest. We're going to see some aliens back there. And be damned if there aren't aliens back there. Okay?
And he goes,
I totally chickened out. Right? I totally chickened out. And I would totally, if I had my opportunity to go back in time and time travel back to that entire scenario, you'll have to wait until I come back from the break.
Woo!
I know. Playing that game.
But wait.
But wait, there's more. Coming up here on Spaced Out Radio with the SOR Round Table, we have Goof On radio streams, Rich Giordano. Make sure you hit subscribe on his channel. Hit subscribe on UFO Garage with Joe and Ben. We got Lynn Wallington and Science Bob McGuire, along with me, El Ovni Volador, as we take this thing home on Spaced Out Radio right after this. Where'd Joe go?
I don't know. It's been a long time. It's so you might as well be a statue back there. Like it's. I feel so intimidated. Like you're just.
I'm El Pollo Loco.
I can't even see your eyes. At least we can see Dave's eyes.
Well, every luchador needs a villain, dude. So I had to be the villain, you know.
Oh my god.
Dave,
I'll be right back.
This is fabulous. You could use this.
I didn't do that. Who did that?
Who did it?
I don't know. It might have been me. I was trying to look at the different modes, and I hit together mode. I didn't know it was going to put us on some stone
Yes.
steps.
Mine says together mode.
Where's together mode?
But look up at the top of the screen.
Like the call.
Right up by the people, etc. In the title, it's in the middle is together mode.
It's hilarious, though. I'm like just ahead.
Dave, you can use this as your way to go start broadcasting video.
I get it now. Did you know about that, Rich?
I've never seen this.
No, I don't use Skype.
Oh yeah, you use you don't use Zoom. You use
StreamYard, but I use StreamYard. I've used Skype, but I didn't know it was on there. I can't see what you guys see, so
we're all sitting in a rock Athenium, like a Roman court.
Oh wow.
Or an amphitheater at a Boy Scout camp.
You can
it's
see
fantastic.
I feel like I could just go like, I don't know, can you get my hands in here? Like,
Rich, turn your camera on for a sec.
All right.
I want to see where Rich sits.
yeah, where is he going to pop up?
What? Oh, where do I sit?
Yeah, you got to turn your camera on for us to see you.
What
in this
step are
grid.
you going to be on?
Hold on, here we go. Whoops. Let me get that. All right, there we go. I had to put some things out of camera. All right, here we go.
Where is he? Hey! There you
are. I don't see anything. I see Dave individually, you guys on your own cameras.
Really?
Huh.
Are you running Skype?
Yeah. Dave
have
called
no
me.
idea how you can not
Okay, go
see
right
it.
up to the top, Rich, and see right beside everybody's name. It'll say together mode.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see here. All right, there's... Hold on.
The call layout button. And together mode is maybe you have an older version of Skype and it can't do it.
Maybe.
I thought it just updated last week, I thought.
I just had an update last week, too.
So I see, is it all the way to the left?
No, it's in the center at the top.
I see all of your, here we go. 6 participants, gallery, and find.
You don't see together mode?
No.
Yours is not capable. That's just what it means.
You know, I never get to have fun. It's true.
I hurt for you. El Ovni Volador hurts for you right now.
Wait, it's telling me to go to call.
Try that.
I'm afraid it's going to hang me up. I'll go to it, though.
Hey, Ben's back in.
Hey, it worked.
Yay!
There
That's
you are.
amazing.
Oh my
Look
God.
at masks.
How does this happen?
Oh,
Oh, my God. Look at the mask.
Oh,
Should
great.
I go get one?
Yep.
I ordered it from Amazon. Their Amazon Prime is pretty quick nowadays.
Is that your purging mask?
Yeah. It comes with a matching baseball bat too.
Very nice.
It's inflatable. It's just for fun. It squeaks.
All right, we got 1 minute to go here. 1 minute to go.
Man, how terrible of a death would that be, to be murdered with a squeaking bat? It would take forever.
I don't know, but I am totally addicted to The Purge. That the show. Oh, which one does Rich have on right now? Hold on, he's gonna appear here.
Not working.
Whoa!
Oh,
There's
no!
this alien mask.
It's a
Oh, my
Zeta!
goodness.
Oh my god.
There
It's
it
an-
finally auto shrunk.
Amazing.
All right, we got
Oh,
25 seconds here. 25 seconds.
Oh my god.
Dave, this is awesome. This is fantastic. You can use this to broadcast video.
You can tell we're super serious too. Like we're very
Right?
like
Aw.
we take this.
I feel left out. I need a mask.
Hold on, guys. Here we go. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is El Ovni Volador. Gave Dave Scott the last hour of the show off. I'll take it from here. Let a real professional come on in. Now, I want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old El Ovni the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we introduce the panel of the SOR Round Table. We have our lovely witch, Lynn Wellington, Science Bob McGuire. We have Ben and Joe from UFO Garage Podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe on their YouTube channel. And Little Richie G from Goof On. Make sure you hit subscribe there as well. We'd appreciate it. And right before the break, we were talking about our final topic of the night. And that is time travel. If you could travel back in time to an event that you experienced, would you go back to it? What event would you go back to? And how would you change how you acted, how you were? For me, for instance, it was on April 15th, 2014, when Samantha Mowat and I walked into a forest, and there was an alien in the forest, an absolute alien. And so this is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This thing starts telepathically communicating with Samantha, says, "We're not here to harm you. We're not here to take you. You're more than welcome to come over and say hello. However, we're worried about the man's health." They were scared for me. Scared. So my big thing is this. Samantha starts walking down the path. Like she's going to go over there and talk with them aliens. She is. And I held her back. I held her back. Because I was frightened. I wasn't scared of them. What I was scared of was that at that exact moment in time, I'm 40 years old, and my entire life just changed before my very mask. Okay? And I couldn't handle it. So if I could do anything and travel back in time, I would literally go back to that exact scenario, and I would walk down that path with Samantha, that 200 feet, to go see these extraterrestrials. I blew that one, boys and girls. I blew that one. I want that moment back. And ever since this happened, I've wanted that moment back. Joe, let's go to you. Anything freaky ever happened to you that you would love to go back in time, and how would you do it differently?
Man, I don't know. I don't know if I have a specific experience really in the past that I would go back to, and I think that's partly just because I never really paid attention. So maybe if there's like a random moment, I would go back and just tell myself, "Hey, for the next 20 years of your life, pay attention to certain things. And, maybe I would have had that experience earlier on in life. If I could travel to the future, though, I would probably tell myself that any upcoming experience or anything that happens, basically to maybe stay calm and just roll with it and see what happens. That's kind of a very unique thing to happen to somebody. So I think my advice to myself in the past or the future would just be pay attention and enjoy the experience. Now, if there was an experience in the past that I did want to go see, I would go back when Jimi Hendrix lit his guitar on fire. So I think that would be pretty cool.
Well, if we're talking personal like that, I would trip the guy in front of me who caught the Paradise City whistle on my 40th birthday. Okay? And then told me to go pound sand with very rude words after I offered him $1,000 for the whistle.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm still upset about that one. Richie G, let's bring you in here. You've had some amazing experiences. Travel back in time for me, Richie G.
Don't want to. No, I'm kidding. There is one. There's one. Once I get Dave once a show. It was in 1994, and me and the girl I was with at the time and her family at a barbecue saw an object in the sky. And I contemplated, we watched it for a long time, like almost 45 minutes. And I contemplated going in the car to try to get closer to it, and I never did. I wish I can go back in time, get in the car, and try to go to where it was at. And it stayed in the sky all the way until the sun went down. It was weird. But I wish I drove over there. That's it. I can't think of anything else.
But what would you have done differently there? What were you hoping to see?
I would have gotten in the car, and I would have tried to find out where it is. It didn't look that far away. And I wanted to get underneath it. It was probably only 500-600 feet up, but it was glinting the sun as it was setting. It was unbelievable. And we all saw it. But I would get in the car and try to drive out there. That's all. I can't think of anything else.
I am totally surprised you went with that experience. I thought you would go with the Ouija board one.
Oh, right. I could have. That's, yeah.
Would you like to make a change? Would you like to make a change?
Well, no, because I would have done the same exact thing. I wouldn't have changed. It was all for research. Dave's talking about where I may or may not have had a spiritual attachment from a Ouija board experience is 125 of them. Without closing the Ouija board down, you got to say goodbye. So I never did. And people think I had something strange happen to my throat, and it had to do with a cross I put on, and I denounced the devil in the Ouija board and all this stuff. Maybe should I go back and not do any of what I did? No, it was part of research. I have to learn the valuable lessons, the hard lessons. And maybe I did. Hey, that was the beginning of everything that changed for me after that. So
very, very true.
I don't want to change it. I don't want to change it. I want to go back and find out what that silver object was.
That would
I always
be cool.
wondered that.
How about you, Science Bob?
So in 1972, I pick up my girlfriend at where we go to the same university, and I drive home, and I have an hour and a half of missing time. Wind up in the middle of nowhere, sitting in the dark road at a stop sign, no clue where I am. I'd go back in time and figure out what happened.
Now, that's cool.
What would you want to know about that missing time, Science Bob?
What caused it? What was the deal? Was I abducted by aliens, or did I just black out and magically drive for an hour and a half without wrecking? I want to know the answer.
Why not hypnotherapy? Or you're not allowed?
Not allowed.
Why not?
I have to have a cleared hypnotherapist, and no one will get one for me.
What does that mean, cleared hypnotherapist?
I worked for the intelligence community for 30 years.
Oh.
Science Bob is spooky.
That's legit, man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you have a security clearance that you
I read out of my security clearance on May 8 and retired.
Wow.
That's really cool.
That's cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Ben?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've been like racking my brain trying to think of a time that I would go back in time and change something, and it was the first sighting that I've ever had of something that I couldn't explain. I was with a couple of friends in high school. I think I was 17, and we were on YouTube looking at UFO videos, and I get a call from a friend that says, "Hey, there's some weird lights in the sky." She knew that I was into UFOs and called me, and lo and behold, I had some friends over, and we were like, "Wait, that's a weird synchronicity." So we get in the car, we go drive over the dam, and I'm kind of shortening the story, but the dam that goes over the lake, and yeah, we see these orbs, and I wish that I would have brought a better camera with me. These insane orbs, orange orbs in the sky floating over the lake. All I have is my memory and my buddy's memory. And I feel like it's changed over time. And I just wish that I had that proof, that video, man. That's what I would change.
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool to have. You know, we all have things that we would love to see. If you could go in, let's reverse it now. If you could time travel into the future, Richie G, what do you want to see if you had control?
Wow. I never think about the future. Yeah, I always dwell on the past. So going into the future, I would like to see where we are in 500 years. That's where I want to go. Not too far ahead that maybe we would have, blown ourselves up, but maybe 500 is too much. Maybe I should go 100. I didn't have time to think this through, but I would like to go in the not too distant future and see where we're at as a whole. See if aliens, were disclosed, see who the presidents were, all that stuff. Natural disasters. I want to be like Mothman.
Mothman would be pretty cool. Like, you fly around,
if I can go in the future, that'd be so cool. Yeah, right? Yeah, I have red eyes and everything.
Yeah.
Very cool. He's going to manifest into Mothman. Mothrich. That's a good wrestling name. Mothrich.
The Moth.
Uh-huh. Science Bob, how about you? If you could take yourself into the future?
I'd go 500 years so
Yes.
I could learn all the science that happened. What planets did we go to? How do we propel ourselves? And I would bring it back and invest in those companies and make my heirs rich.
Hell yeah.
Talking about GameStop right now?
But wouldn't that imagine, like Rich and Bob, you both said 500 years, okay? What if it's exactly the same, except it's crappier music than we have today?
That's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'd cry.
It won't be. I want to see if we have technology where we could put ourselves in cryo sleep and wake up 300 years later. Stuff like that, man.
Well, I see right now we're going to be able to install our consciousness in cybernetic organisms in under 50 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the AI stuff that's going on, especially with Elon Musk and what he's working on, it's going to be
his Neuralink and his OpenAI and other stuff. Yeah, just I believe it's coming.
It's good stuff.
We're going to steadily enhance ourselves with cybernetic tools to our bodies.
Yep.
We will never have heart attacks. Our kidneys will never fail because they'll be machines.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like the contingency is that the AI that is you can never talk to that AI because it would create a ripple effect in the space-time continuum. Even just communicating to
where's your DeLorean?
It's parked outside.
So I want you there's an Australian physicist who has shown conclusively that you cannot go back in time and create the grandfather paradox. It's not possible. so it's mathematically excluded. So that means, to me, time travel is possible. I believe that all things are possible will happen.
Love that.
Works for me. Lynn, how about you? You're going into the future. What you looking at?
I mean, I think I'd be going with Rich and Science Bob and just checking things out and seeing where we're at. I'd like to get to a point where, maybe we've figured out space travel a little better. Where have we gone? Who have we met? Have we met anyone? What have we seen? So all the same things that everyone else is saying, I guess. It's not that exciting an answer, but...
You tried.
Lynn's enlightening tonight. Very enlightening. I definitely want you to walk me to the squared circle. Be my manager. Be my manager, Unicorn. How about you, Joel? If you could go in the future?
Man, so about a month ago, I had this wild experience with this massive orange ball of light that flew over my house, and it has bugged me to death ever since I saw it, because I've never seen anything like it before. I would definitely go in the future to see if I ever figured out what that thing was, or if anybody figured out what it was. So that would be my future thing.
And you, Ben?
Oh my gosh, future. I would love to see. This is what I see in my head. I see Futurama. I mean, The Simpsons has predicted everything that's up to this point. I would love to have the Earth be in 50 years totally just chill with everybody. Like, that would be fun, right? Like Zoidberg, I would love that to happen. So that's what I see happening in the future. We're just there's just aliens all around us. They don't not only look just like us, some of them, but some of them look totally different and nobody's scared. Like, that'd be cool if we were just not spooked. As long as they're not abducting us and, doing weird shit stuff. Sorry, Dave.
Well, you know what? If I had my choice, I would want to go about 100 years, 120, so that way I could see my great-great grandkids and all that kind of stuff, all the mushy stuff that you want to do. I'd probably want to bang my head on a wall a few more times just because it just seems like the right thing to do in my Al Bundy kind of life that I have, and see if that pattern changed. But I would love to see where we go. I would love to see the technology, flying cars. Do we get some Jetsons type lifestyle? Because that would be really cool to have that Jetsons type lifestyle going on. And, hopefully they bring fighting back into hockey by then, because it sucks right now. It really does suck right now. And, there's a lot of things I want to see. I don't believe, like, in my personal opinion, I don't believe we're going to see disclosure in our lifetime. I want to believe we will, but I don't think we will. But in 100 years from now, when society has moved away and the younger generations have moved away from such societal norms that are out there that we consider normal today, whether it's current academics, it's current religion, current everything, I think once society moves forward and says, you know what, we can just love everything at once, that's a planet I hope to see, and I hope we get there, rather than trying to party like it's $14.99 again. Right?
I would love to sit down at a very long table with many chairs of Bigfoot and all the aliens and say, "Hey guys, we're good, right?"
He wants a Star Wars bar.
Yeah, cantina.
Yes.
Absolutely. We only got a couple minutes left with the panel tonight, and it's been a lot of fun here. UFO Garage guys, before we let you go, because this is your first time here, we really haven't talked in almost a year. You realize that. You weren't sharing that 25-gallon bottle of wine that you were carrying around the hotel. But I do have to say this, you guys are very entertaining. You guys are a lot of fun, and let everybody know, at least my listeners, because we got to get your YouTube numbers up a little bit and everything like that. Let my listeners know where they can find you guys, because I think you guys need a lot more love than what you're getting out there.
Well,
Yeah,
thanks, dude.
I appreciate that. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. Just being here tonight. I mean, it's already went up like 10 subscribers. So thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, you guys can find UFO Garage on basically any podcast streaming platform. You can go to ufogaragepc.com. Leave us a message. Stop by. Say what's up. You can find all of our stuff on there. Yeah, we're just laid back. We like to have a good time. I mean, we don't claim to be hardcore researchers or anything like that. We just so happen to be two regular dudes who are into it and pay attention a little more than the regular person. So I think we kind of bring that aspect a little bit. But yeah, it's laid back. We like to have a lot of fun, and we'd love for all you guys to come and hang out with us.
Absolutely. And Little Richie G, do us a favor. Let everybody know where they can find Goof On when you're on.
Monday through Saturday on YouTube, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, UFOs, near-death experiences, conspiracies. We do it all, even premiering a video now and then. And also you can find me on Third Phase UFO Report and Third Phase of Moon.
Hey, Richie, I got to ask, what's it like starting at 7 p.m. Pacific? What's that like?
Well, it's 8. I'm not on Pacific, I'm Mountain until they change it, We don't change our clocks here in Arizona, so
that's so nice.
We change our lives. Yeah, so that's why I'm moving. No, it's wonderful having the extra hours. Well, you're in Pacific, Dave, right, or Mountain?
So I'm saying 7 o'clock you're on at my time. I'm Pacific.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. Even though I live in the mountains, I'm not on Mountain Time just yet. But, guys, I want to say, Lynn Wellington, I love you. Thank you for coming on in. Your new hairdo looks fantastic. Joe, and your hair and beard, I want to just, touch it. I'm not going to be on it. I'm going to be blunt right there. I'd love to tug your beard a little bit. Science Bob McGuire, thank you so much. We'll talk to you on Science Bob and Friends in a couple of weeks. Ben from UFO Garage, thank you for joining us. And Little Richie G, really appreciate you taking the time to come on and join us as well. Bring back the mustache, G. Just the mustache.
Nah.
You need a power stash.
Nope, I know.
Make a statement, man.
Make a statement.
All right.
Perfect.
What if I just do a little one under the nose?
Oh, we're going to end it right there. Thank you to our audience joining us as well. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother Is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight, and we love each and every one of you tuning in on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, the Space Travelers Club, Facebook, and the Snarkers and Snarkettes.
What makes Community Coffee different isn't just how long we've been around. It's how far we're willing to go in pursuit of the perfect cup. We select the finest beans and use 4 generations of roasting experience to give you a rich, delicious flavor. Look for us at your grocery store and online at communitycoffee.com.
Some people make a single cup of coffee, others an entire pot. At Community Coffee, we make ours with a commitment, because community isn't just our name, it's our mission. Find us at your grocery store or communitycoffee.com to learn more.